All right. Henry V, prologue. The chorus wishes for a far greater stage, actors, and audience. He apologized for the scanty resources that are available and urges the audience to use its imagination to make up for them. Enter chorus as prologue.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, gentles all, the flat unraised spirits that hath dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vast fields of France? Or may we cram within the wooden O the very casks that did affright the air of Agincourt? Oh, pardon, since a crooked figure may attest in little place a million, and let us, ciphers to this great account, on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies, whose high upreared and abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts, and to 1,000 parts divide one man, and make imaginary puissance think when we talk of horses that you see them printing their proud hoofs the receiving earth, for 'tis your thoughts that now must deck our kings. Carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass. For the which supply, admit me chorus to this history, who, prologue like, your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge, our play.
He exits. Act 1, Scene 1. The Bishop of Canterbury informs the Bishop of Ely of a bill threatening church revenues and a plan to postpone it by justifying King Henry's invasion of France to claim the French throne. Canterbury also reports his offer of a most generous contribution to the king to help finance the war. Scene 1. Enter the two bishops of Canterbury and Ely. My lord, I'll tell you that that self-bill is urged, which in the 11th hour of the last king's reign was like, and had indeed against us passed, but that the scrambling and unquiet time did push it out of farther question.
Now, but how, my lord, shall we resist it now?
It must be thought on. If it is passed against us, we lose the better half of our possessions. For all the temporal lands which men devout by testament have given to the church, they would strip from us, being valued thus, as much as would maintain to the king's honor, full 15 earls and 1,500 knights, 6,200 good esquires, and, to the relief of lazars and weak age, of indignant faint souls past corporal toil, 100 almshouses right well supplied, and to the coffers of the king besides, and £1,000 by the year. Thus runs the bill.
This would drink deep.
'Twould drink the cup and all.
But what prevention?
The king is full of grace and fair regard.
And a true lover of the Holy Church.
The courses of his youth promised it not. The breath no sooner left his father's body, but that his wildness, mortified in him, seemed to die too. Yea, at that very moment consideration like an angel came and whipped the offending Adam out of him, leaving his body as a paradise, to envelop and contain celestial spirits. Never was such a sudden scholar made, never came reformation in a flood, with such a heady current scouring faults, nor never Hydra-headed wilfulness soon did lose his seat, and all at once, as in this king.
We are blessed in the change.
Hear him, but reason in divinity. All admiring, with an inward wish, you would desire the king were made of prelate. hear him debate of commonwealth affairs. You would say it hath been all in his study. List his discourse of war, and you shall hear a fearful battle rendered in your music. Turn him to any cause of policy. The Gordian knot of it he will unloose, familiar as his garter, that when he speaks, the air like a chartered libertine is still, and the mute wonder lurketh in men's ears to steal his sweet and honeyed sentences, so that the art and practic part of life must be the mistress to theoric, which is a wonder how his grace should glean it, since his addiction was to courses vain, his companies unlettered, rude, and shallow, his hours filled up with riots, banquets, sports, and never noted him in any study, any retirement, any sequestration from open haunts and popularity.
The strawberry grows underneath the meadow, and wholesome berries thrive and ripen, best neighbored by fruit of baser quality. And so the prince obscured his contemplation under the veil of wildness, which no doubt grew like the summer grass, fastest by night, and seemed yet crisp in his faculty.
It must be so, for miracles are ceased, and therefore we must needs admit the means how things are perfected.
But, my good lord, how now for mitigation of this bill urged by the Commons? Doth his Majesty incline to it, or no?
He seems indifferent, or rather swaying more upon our part than cherishing the exhibitors against us. For I have made an offer to his Majesty, upon our spiritual convocation, and in regard of causes now in hand, which I have opened to his grace at large, as touching France, to give a greater sum than ever at one time the clergy yet did to his predecessors part withal.
How did this offer seem received, my lord?
With good acceptance of his Majesty, save that there was not enough time to hear, as I perceived his grace would fain have done, the severals and unhidden passages of his true titles of some certain dukedoms, and certainly to the crown and seat of France derived from Edward, his great-grandfather.
What was the impediment that broke this off?
The French ambassador upon that instant craved audience, and the hour, I think, is come to give him hearing. Is it 4 o'clock?
It is.
Then we go in to know his embassy, which I could with a ready guess declare before the Frenchmen speak a word of it.
I'll wait upon you, and I long to hear it.
They exit. Act 1, Scene 2. At the king's request, Canterbury provides an extensive interpretation to French law to support Henry's claim to the throne. After the court discusses ways of preventing a Scottish invasion of England while Henry's in France, Henry decides to go to war against France. The French ambassadors present Henry with a token of the Dauphine's insulting refusal to take as seriously Henry's claims of France. Scene 2. Enter the King of England, Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester, Bedford, Clarence, Warwick, Westmoreland, and Exeter, with other attendants.
Where is my gracious Lord of Canterbury?
Not here in presence!
Send for him, good uncle.
Shall we call in the ambassador, my liege?
Not yet, my cousin. We would be resolved before we hear him of some things of weight that task our thoughts concerning us in France.
Enter the 2 bishops of Canterbury and Ely.
God and his angels guard your sacred throne, and make you long become it.
Sir, we thank you, my learned lord. We pray you to proceed and justly and religiously unfold why the law Salis that they have in France or should not bar us in our claim. And God forbid, my dear and faithful lord, that you should fashion, rest, or bow your reading, or nicely charge your understanding soul with opening titles, miscreate whose right suits not in native colors with the truth. For God doth know how many now in health shall drop their blood in approbation of what your reverence shall incite us to. Therefore, take heed how you impugn our person, how you awake our sleeping sword of war. We charge you in the name of God, take heed, for never 2 such kingdoms did contend without much fall of blood, whose guiltless drops are every one a woe. a sore complaint against him whose wrongs give edge unto the swords that make such waste and brief mortality. Under this conjuration, speak, my lord, for we will hear, note, and believe in heart that what you speak is in your conscience, washed as pure as sin with baptism.
Then hear me, gracious sovereign, and your peers that owe yourselves, your lives, and services to this imperial throne. There is no bar to make against your highness's claim to France, but this which they produce from Fairmont, in terram salicem Mliris ne succedent. No woman shall succeed in Salic land, which Salic land the French unjustly glows to be the realm of France, and Pharamond, the founder of this law and female bar, yet their own authors faithfully affirm that the land of Salic is in Germany, between the floods of Sala and Elbe, where Charles the Great, having subdued the Saxons, there left behind the settled certain French, who, holding in disdain the German women, for some dishonest manners of their life, established then this law, no whit, no female should inheritix in Salic lands, which Salic, as I said, twixt Elbe and Sala, in this day in Germany called Meissen. Then it doth well appear the Salic law was not devised for the realm of France, nor did the French possess the Salic land until 421 years after defunct of King Pharamond. Idly suppose the founder of this law, who died within the year of our redemption, 426, and Charles the Great subdued the Saxons and did seat the French beyond the river Sala in the year 805. Besides, the writers say, King Pepin, which disposed Childeric, did as heir general, being descended of Blithild was the daughter of King Colthair, make claim entitled to the crown of France. Hugh Capet also, who usurped the crown of Charles of the Duke of Lorraine, sole male heir of the true line and stock of Charles the Great, defined his title with some shows of truth, though in pure truth it was corrupt and not conveyed him as heir to the Lady Langear, whose daughter to Charlemagne, who was the son to Louis the Emperor, and Louis the son of Charles the Great, also King Louis X, who was the sole heir to the usurper Capet, could not keep quiet in his conscience, wearing the crown of France, till satisfied that fair Queen Isabel, his grandmother, was lineal of the Lady Amangeure, daughter of Charles the foresaid Duke of Lorraine, by the which marriage of the line of Charles the Great was reunited to the crown of France, so that, as clear as the summer's sun, King Pepin's title and Hugh Capet's claim, King Louis, what his satisfaction, all appear to hold in right and title of the female. So do the kings of France unto this day. Howbeit they would hold up this Salic law to bar your highness claiming from the female, and rather choose to hide them in a net than amply to embar their crooked titles usurped from you and your progenitors.
May I with right and conscience make this claim?
The sin upon my head, dread sovereign. For in the book of Numbers it is writ, when the man dies, let the inheritance descend unto the daughter. Gracious Lord, stand for your own, unwind your bloody flag. Look back into your mighty ancestors. Go, my dread lord, to your great-grandsire's tomb, from whom you claim invoke his warlike spirit, and your great-uncle's Edward the Black Prince, who on the French ground played a tragedy, making defeat of full power of France, while his most mighty father on a hill stood smiling to behold his lion's whelp forge in blood of French nobility. Oh, noble English, that could entertain with half their forces the full pride of France, and let another half stand laughing by, all out of work and cold for action.
Awake remembrance of this valiant dead, and with your puissant arm renew their feats. You are their heir, you sit upon their throne, the blood and courage that renowned them runs in your veins, and my thrice puissant liege is in the very May-born of his youth, ripe for exploits and mighty enterprises.
Oh, your brethren monarchs of the earth, do you all expect that you should rouse yourself, as did the former lions of your blood?
They know your grace hath cause and means and might. So hath your highness. Never king of England had nobles richer, and more loyal subjects, whose hearts have left their bodies here in England and lie pavilioned in the fields of France.
Oh, let their bodies follow, my dear liege, with blood and sword and fire to win your right, in aid whereof we of the spirituality will raise your highness such a mighty sum as never did the clergy at one time bring into any of your ancestors.
We must not only arm to invade the French, but lay down our proportions to defend against the Scot, who will make road upon us with all advantages.
They of those marches, gracious sovereign, shall be a wall sufficient to defend our inland from the pilfering borders.
We do not mean the coursing snatchers only, but fear the main intendment of the Scot, who hath been still a giddy neighbor to us. For you shall read that my great-grandfather never went with his forces into France, but that the Scot on his unfurnished kingdom came pouring like the tide into a breach, with ample and brim fullness of his force, galling the gleaned land with hot assays, girding with grievous siege castles, and towns, that England, being empty of defence, hath shook and trembled at the ill neighborhood.
She hath been more feared than harmed, my liege, for hear her but exampled by herself, when all her chivalry hath been in France, and she a mourning widow of her nobles, she hath herself not well defended, but taken and impounded as a stray the King of Scots, whom she did send to France to fill King Edward's frame with prisoner kings, and make her chronicle as rich with praise as is the ooze and bottom of the sea, with sunken wrack and sumless treasuries.
But there's a saying very old and true. If that you will France win, then with Scotland first begin. For once, the eagle England being in prey to her unguarded nest, and weasel Scot comes sneaking, and so sucks her princely eggs, playing the mouse in absence of the cat, to tame and havoc more than she can eat.
It follows, then, the cat must stay at home. Yet that is but a crushed necessity, since we have locks to safeguard necessaries, and pretty traps to catch the petty thieves. While that the armed hand doth fight abroad, the advised head defends itself at home. For government, though high and low and lower, put into parts, doth keep in one consent, congreeing in a full and natural close like music. Therefore doth heaven divide the state of men in divers functions, setting endeavour in continual motion, to which is fixed as an aim or but obedience. For so work the honeybees, creatures that by a rule in nature teach the act of order to a peopled kingdom. They have a king and officers of sorts, when some like magistrates correct at home, others like merchants venture trade abroad, others like soldiers armed in their stings make boot upon the summer's velvet buds, which pillage they with merry march bring home to tent royal of their emperor, who busied in his majesty surveys the singing masons building roofs of gold, the civil citizens kneading up the honey, the poor mechanic porters crowding in their heavy burdens at his narrow gate, the sad-eyed justice with his surly hum, delivering o'er to executors pale the lazy yawning drone. This I infer, that many things, having full reference to one consent, may work contrariously, as many arrows lucid several ways come to one mark, as many ways meet in one town, as many fresh streams meet in one salt sea, as many lines close in the dial's center, so many 1,000 actions once afoot end in one purpose, and be all well borne without defeat. Therefore, to France, my liege, divide your happy England into 4, whereof you take 1/4 to France, and you withal shall make all Gallia shake, if we, with thrice such powers left at home, cannot defend our doors from the dog. Let us be worried, and our nation lose the name of hardiness and policy.
Call in the messengers sent from the Dauphin.
Attendants exit.
Now are we well resolved, and by God's help and yours, the noble sinews of our power, France being ours, we'll bend it to our awe or break it all to pieces. Or there we'll sit, ruling in large and ample empery over France and all her almost kingly dukedoms, or lay these bones in an unworthy urn, tombless, with no remembrance over them. Either our history shall with full mouth speak freely of our acts, or else our grave, like Turkish mute, shall have a tongueless mouth, not worshipped with a waxen epitaph.
Enter ambassadors of France with attendants.
Now are we well prepared to know the pleasure of our fair cousin Dauphin, for we hear your greeting is from him, not from the king.
May it please your majesty to give us leave freely to render what we have in charge. Or shall we sparingly show you far off the Dauphin's meaning in our embassy?
We are no tyrant, but a Christian king, unto whose grace our passion is as subject as is our wretches fettered in our prisons. Therefore, with frank and with uncurbed plainness, tell us the Dauphin's mind.
Thus then, in the few, your highness, lately sending into France, did claim some certain dukedoms in the right of your great predecessor, King Edward III. In answer of which claim, the prince, our master, says that you savor too much of your youth and bids you be advised there's naught in France that can be with a nimble galliard won. You cannot revel in dukedoms there. He therefore sends you meter for your spirit, this ton of treasure, and in lieu of this, desires you let the dukedoms that you claim hear no more of you. This is the Dauphin speaks.
What treasure, uncle?
Tennis balls, my liege.
We are glad the Dauphin is so pleasant with us. His present and your pains we thank you for. When we have matched our rackets to these balls, we will fly in France, by God's grace. Play a set shall strike his father's crown into the hazard. Tell him that he hath made a match with such a wrangler that all the courts of France will be disturbed with chases. And we understand him well, how he comes o'er us with our wilder days, not measuring what use we made of them. We never valued this poor seat of England, and therefore living hence did give ourselves to barbarous license, as 'tis ever common that men are merriest when they are from home. But tell the Dauphin I will keep my state, be like a king, and show my sail of greatness when I do rouse me in my throne of France, for that I have laid by my majesty, and plotted like a man for working days. But I will rise there with so full a glory that I will dazzle all the eyes of France, yea, strike the Dauphin blind to look on us. Until the pleasant prince, this mock of his, hath turned his balls to gunstones, and his soul shall stand sore charged for the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them. For many a thousand widows shall his mock out of their dear husbands, mock mothers from their sons, mock castles down, and some are yet ungotten and unborn that shall have cause to curse the Dauphin's scorn. But this lies all within the will of God, to whom I do appeal, and in whose name tell you the Dauphin I am coming on, to venge me as I may, and to put forth my rightful hand in a well-hallowed cause. So get you hence in peace, and tell the Dauphin his jest will savor but of shallow wit, when thousands weep more than did laugh at it. Convey them with safe conduct, fare you well.
Ambassadors exit with attendants.
This is a merry message.
We hope to make the sender blush at it. Therefore, my lords, omit no happy hour that may give furtherance to our expedition, for we have now no thought in us but France, save those to God, that run before our business. Therefore, let our proportions for these wars be soon collected, and all things thought upon that may with reasonable swiftness add more feathers to our wings. For, God before, we'll chide this Dauphin at his father's door. Therefore, let every man now task his thought, that this fair action may on foot be brought.
Flourish, they exit. Act 2, chorus! The chorus announces the enthusiastic support of English youth for Henry's French campaign, but also advises that the French have bribed 3 noblemen to attempt Henry's assassination. Enter chorus.
Now all the youth of England are on fire, and silken dallions in the wardrobe lies. Now thrive the armorers, and honest thought reigns solely in the breast of every man. They sell the pasture now to buy the horse, following the mirror of all Christian kings with winged heels as English Mercuries. For now sits expectation in the air, and hides a sword from hilts unto the point, with crowns, imperial crowns and coronets promised to Harry and his followers. The French, advised by good intelligence of this most dreadful preparation, shake in their fear, and with pale policy seek to divert the English purposes. O England, model to thy inward greatness, like little body with a mighty heart, what mightst thou do that honor would thee do? Were all thy children kind and natural, but see thy fault friends have in thee found out, a nest of hollow bosoms which he fills with treacherous crowns, and 3 corrupted men, one Richard, Earl of Cambridge, the second Henry, Lord Scrope of Masham, and the third Sir Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland, have for the guilt of France, oh, guilt indeed, confirmed conspiracy with fearful friends, and by their hands this grace of kings must die. If hell and treason hold their promises, ere he take ship for France, and in Southampton linger a patience on, and will digest the views of distance, force a play. The sum is paid, the traitors are agreed, the king is set from London, and the scene is now transported, gentles, to Southampton. There is the playhouse now, there must you sit, and thence to France shall we convey you safe and bring you back, charming the narrow seas to give you a gentle pass, for if we may, we will not offend one stomach with our play. But till the king come forth, and not till then, unto Southampton do we shift our scene.
He exits. Act 2, Scene 1. King Henry's former tavern companion, Bardolph, prevents Pistol and Nym from fighting over a hostess quickly. Pistol's wife.
Wait, they got married? Amazing!
Were they always
They're
married?
already married? I forget. I think he mentioned that they were married, I think, in the last one.
They are interrupted by the... Wow, I'm shook. They are interrupted by the news that Sir John Falstaff, once Henry's intimate friend, is gravely ill. Enter Corporal Nym and Lieutenant Bardolph.
Well met, Corporal Nym.
Good morrow, Lieutenant Bardolph.
What, are Ancient Pistol and your friend and you friends yet?
For my part, I care not. I say little, but when time shall serve, there shall be the smiles. But that shall be as it may. I dare not fight, but I will wait and hold out mine iron. It is a simple one, but what thought? It will toast cheese. It will endure cold as another man's sword will, and there's an end.
I will bestow a breakfast to make you friends, and we'll be all 3 sworn brothers to friends. That be so, good Corporal Nym.
Faith, I will live so long as I may, and that's the certain of it. And when I cannot live any longer, I will do as I may. That is my rest. That is the rendezvous of it.
It is certain, Corporal, that he is married to Nella Quickly, and certainly she did you wrong, for you were truth plight to her.
I cannot tell. Things must be as they may. Men may sleep, and they may have their throats about them at that time, and some say knives have edges. It must be as it may. Though Patience be a tired mare, yet she will plod. There must be conclusions. Well, I cannot tell.
Enter Pistol and hostess quickly.
Here comes Ancient Pistol and his wife. Good Corporal, be patient here. How now, my host Pistol?
Base tack calls thou me host? Now, by this hand, I swear I'd scorn the term, nor shall my Nell keep lodgers.
No, by my troth, not long. For we cannot lodge and board a dozen or 14 gentlewomen that live honestly by the prick of needles, but it will be the thought we keep a bawdy house straight. Nim and Pistol draw their swords. Oh, well a day, lady! If he not be hewn now, we shall see wilful adultery and murder committed.
Good lieutenant, good corporal, offer nothing here.
Pish!
Pish for thee, Icelandic dog, thou prick-eared cur of Iceland.
Good Corporal Nim, show thy valor, and put up your sword.
Will you shut off? I would have you solace.
Solace, agrarious dog. Oh, viper vile, the solace in thy most marvelous face, the solace in thy teeth, and in thy throat, and in thy hateful lungs, yea, and in thy maw purdy, and, which is worse, within thy nasty mouth. I do retort the solace in thy bowels, for I can take, and Pistol's cock is up, and flashing fire will follow.
I am not a Barbazan. You cannot conjure me. I have a humor to knock you indifferently well. If you grow foul with me, Pistol, I will score you with my rapier, as I may in fair terms. If you would walk off, I would prick your guts a little in good terms, as I may, and that's the humor of it.
Oh, braggart vile and damned furious wight, the grave doth gape, and doting death is near, therefore exhale.
Hear me what I say, that he that strikes the first stroke, I'll run him up to the hilts, as I am a soldier.
He draws.
An oath of mickle might, and fury shall abate.
Pistol and Nim, and then Bardolph sheath their swords.
Give me thy fist, thy forefoot to me give, thy spirits are most tall.
I will cut thy throat one time or other in fair terms. That is the humor of it.
Couple a gorge, that is the word. I defy thee again. Oh, hound of Crete, thinkest thou my spouse to get? No, to the spittle go, and from the powdering tub of infamy fetch forth the lazar kite of Cressid's kind. Daltier she be by name, and her a spouse. I have, and I will hold, the quondam quickly, for only she, and there's enough to go to.
Enter the boy. Mine host Pistol, you must come quickly to my master and your hostess. He is very sick and would to bed. Good Bardolph, put thy face between his sheets, and do the office of a warming pan. Faith, he's very ill.
Away, you rogue!
By my troth, he'll yield the crow a pudding one of these days. The king has killed his heart. Good husband, come home presently. She exits with the boy.
Come, shall I make you two friends? We must do friends together. Why the devil should we keep knives to cut one another's throat?
Let floods o'erswell, and fiends for food howl on.
You pay me the 8 shillings I won of you at betting?
Base is the slave that pays.
That now I will have. That's the humor of it.
As manhood shall compound, push home.
They draw.
By this sword, he that makes the first thrust, I'll kill him. By this sword, I will.
Sheathing his sword.
Sword is an oath, and oaths must have their course.
Corporal Nymph, and thou wilt be friends, and thou wilt not, why then be enemies with me too? Prithee, put up.
And noble shalt thou have, in present pay, and liquor likewise will I give to thee, and friendship shall combine, and brotherhood. I'll live by Nim, and Nim shall live by me. Is not this just? For I shall sutler be unto the camp, and profits will accrue. Give me thy hand.
I shall have my noble.
In cash, most justly paid.
Well then, that's the humor of it.
Nim and Bardolph sheathed their swords. Enter hostess. As ever you come of women, coming quickly to Sir John. Ah, poor heart, he is so shaked of a burning quoted in tertian that it is most lamentable to behold. Sweet men, come to him.
The king hath run bad humors on the night. That's the even of it.
Nim, thou hast spoke the right. His heart is fracted and corroborate.
The king is a good king, but he must be as a man. He passes some humors and careers.
Let us condole the night, for lambkins we will live.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 2. Henry, informed of the treachery of the three of his friends, confronts them with their crimes. They throw themselves on his mercy, but having just denied mercy to another, they are themselves denied. As they leave, now welcoming their execution as deserved, Henry looks towards his French war. Scene 2. Enter Exeter, Bedford, and Westmoreland.
For God, his grace is bold to trust these traitors.
They shall be apprehended by and by.
How smooth and even they do bear themselves, as if allegiance in their bosoms sat, crowned with faith and constant loyalty.
The king hath note of all that they intend, by interception which they dream not of.
Nay, but the man that was his bedfellow, whom he hath dulled and cloyed with gracious favours, that he should, for a foreign purse, so sell his sovereign's life to death and treachery.
Sound trumpets. Enter the King of England, Scroop, Cambridge, and Grey with attendants.
Now sits the wind fair, and we will aboard. My lord of Cambridge, and my kind lord of Masham, and you, my gentle knight, give me your thoughts. Think you not that the powers we bear with us will cut their passage to the force of France, doing the execution in the act for which we have in head assembled them?
No doubt, my liege, if each man do his best.
I doubt not that. Since we are well persuaded, we carry not a heart with us from hence that grows not in fair consent with ours, nor leave not one behind that doth not wish success and conquest to attend on us.
Ever was monarch better feared and loved than is your majesty. There's not, I think, a subject that sits in the heart grief and uneasiness under the sweet shade of your government.
True, those that were your father's enemies have steeped their galls in honey and do serve you with hearts great of duty and of zeal.
We therefore have great cause of thankfulness, and shall forget the office of our hands sooner than quittance of desert and merit according to the weight and worthiness.
So service shall withstand and soonest toil, and labor shall refresh itself with hope to do your grace incessant services.
We judge no less. Uncle of Exeter, enlarge the man committed yesterday that railed against our person. We consider it was excess of wine that set him on, and on his more advice we pardon him.
That's mercy, but too much security. Let him be punished, sovereign, lest example breed by his sufferance more of such a kind.
Well, let us yet be merciful.
So may your highness, and yet punish too.
Sir, you show great mercy if you give him life, after the taste of much correction.
Alas, your too much love and care of me are heavy orisons against this poor wretch. If little faults proceeding on distemper shall not be winked at, how shall we stretch our eye when capital crimes, chewed, swallowed, and digested, appear before us? We'll yet enlarge that man, though Cambridge, Scroop, and Grey, in their dear care and tender preservation of our person, would have him punished. And now to our French causes. Who are the late commissioners?
I won, my lord. Your highness bade me ask for it today.
So did you me, my liege.
And I, my royal sovereign.
Giving them papers.
Then, Richard, Earl of Cambridge, there is yours. There is yours, Lord Scroop of Masham. And Sir Knight Grey of Northumberland, this same is yours. Read them, and know I know your worthiness. My lord of Westmoreland, Uncle Exeter, we will aboard tonight. Why, how now, gentlemen? What see you in those papers that you lose so much complexion? Look you how they change, their cheeks are paper. Why, what read you there that have so cowarded and chased your blood out of appearance?
I do confess my fault, and do submit me to your highness's mercy.
To which we all appeal.
The mercy that was quick in us but late by your own counsel is suppressed and killed. You must not dare for shame to talk of mercy. For your own reasons turn into your bosoms as dogs upon their masters, worrying you. See you, my princes and my noble peers, these English monsters. My lord of Cambridge here, you know how apt our love was to accord to furnish him with all appurtenance belonging to his honor, and this man hath for a few light crowns lightly conspired and sworn unto the practices of France to kill us here in Hampton. To the which this knight, no less for bounty bound to us than Cambridge's, hath likewise sworn. But oh, what shall I say to thee, Lord Scroop, thou cruel, ingrateful, savage, and inhuman creature? Thou that didst bear the key of all my counsels, that knewst the very bottom of my soul, that almost mightst have coined me into gold, wouldst thou have practiced on me for thy use? May it be possible that foreign hire could out of thee extract one spark of evil that might annoy my finger? 'Tis so strange that though the truth of it stands off as gross as black and white, my eye will scarcely see it. Treason and murder ever kept together, as two yoke devils sworn to either's purpose, working so grossly in a natural cause that admiration did not whoop at them. But thou, against all proportion, didst bring in wonder to wait on treason and on murder, and whatsoever cunning fiend it was that wrought upon thee so preposterously hath got the voice in hell for excellence. All other devils that suggest by treasons do botch and bungle up damnation with patches, colors, and with forms being fetched from glistering semblances of piety. But he that tempered thee, bade thee stand up, gave thee no instance why thou shouldst do treason unless to dub thee with the name of traitor. If that same demon that hath gulled thee thus should with his lion gait walk the whole world, he might return to vasty Tartar back and tell the legions, I can never win a soul so easily as that Englishman's. Oh, how hast thou with jealousy infected the sweetness of affiance? Show men dutiful? Why, so didst thou. Seem they grave and learned? Why, so didst thou. Come they of noble family? Why, so didst thou. Seem they religious? Why, so didst thou. Or are they spare in diet, free from gross passion or of mirth or anger, constant in spirit, not swerving with the blood, garnished and decked in modest compliment, not working with the eye without the ear, but in purged judgment, trusting neither. Such and so finely bolted didst thou seem. And thus thy fall hath left a kind of blot to make the full front man and best endued with some suspicion. I will weep for thee, for this revolt of thine methinks is like another fall of man. Their faults are open, arrest them to the answer of the law, and God acquit them of their practices.
I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Richard, Earl of Cambridge. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Henry, Lord Scroop of Masham. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland.
Our purposes God justly hath discovered, and I repent my fault more than my death, which I beseech your highness to forgive, although my body pay the price for it.
For me, the gold of France did not seduce, although I did admit it as a motive the sooner to effect what I intended. But God be thanked for prevention, which I, in sufferance, heartily will rejoice, beseeching God and you to pardon me.
Vanity faithful subject more rejoice at the discovery of most dangerous treason than I do at this hour joy o'er myself, prevented from a damned enterprise by fault, but not my body pardoned sovereign.
God quit you in his mercy. Hear your sentence. You have conspired against our royal person, joined with an enemy proclaimed, and from his coffers received the gold earnest of our death, wherein you have sold your king to slaughter, his princes and his peers to servitude, his subjects to oppression and contempt, and his whole kingdom into desolation. Touching our person, seek we no revenge, but we our kingdom's safety must so tender, whose ruin you have sought, that to her laws we do deliver you. Get you therefore hence, poor miserable wretches, to your death, the taste whereof God of his mercy give you patience to endure, and true repentance of all your dear offenses. Bear them hence.
They exit under guard.
Now, lords for France, the enterprise whereof shall be to you as us, like glorious. We doubt not of a fair and lucky war, since God so graciously hath brought to light this dangerous treason lurking in our way to hinder our beginnings. We doubt not now, but every rub is smoothed on our way. Then forth, dear countrymen, let us deliver our puissance into the hand of God, putting it straight in expedition. Cheerily to sea, the signs of war advance. No king of England, if not king of France.
Flourish, they exit. Act 2, Scene 3. The Tavern Crew. Bardolph, Pister, Nym, and the boy join the hostess in mourning the dead Falstaff and, saying goodbye to the hostess, leave for France. Scene 3. Enter Pistol, Nym, Bardolph, boy, and hostess.
Prithee, honey, sweet husband, let me bring thee to Staines.
No, for my manly heart doth earn. Bardolph, be blithe. Nym, rouse thy vaunty veins. Boy, bristle thy courage up, for Falstaff, he is dead, and we must earn therefore.
Would I were with him, where somewhere he is, either in heaven or in hell.
Nay, sure he's not in hell. He's in Arthur's bosom, if ever man went to Arthur's bosom. He made a finer end and went away, and it had been any Christendom child. He parted even just between 12 and 1, even at the turning of the tide. For after I saw him fumble with the sheets and play with flowers and smile upon his fingers, and I knew there was but one way, for his nose was as sharp as a pen, and he talked of green fields. How now, Sir John? Quoth I. What man, be of good cheer. So he cried out, God, 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 3 or 4 times. Now I, to comfort him, bid him he should not think of God. I hoped there was no need to trouble himself with any such thoughts yet. So he bade me lay more clothes on his feet. I put my hand into the bed and felt them, and they were as cold as any stone. Then I felt his knees, and so upward, and all was as cold as any stone.
They say he cried of sack.
Aye, that he did.
And of women.
Nay, that he did not.
Yes, that he did, and said they were all devils incarnate.
He could never abide carnation. 'Twas a color he never liked.
He said once the devil would have him about women.
He did, in some sort, indeed, handled women. But then he was rheumatic, there we go, and talked of the whore of Babylon.
Do you not remember he saw a flea stick upon Bardolph's nose, and he said it was a black soul burning in hell?
Well, the fuel is gone that maintained the fire. That's all the riches I got in his service.
Shall we shop? The king will be gone from Southampton.
Come, let's away. My love, give me thy lips.
They kiss.
Look to my chattels and my movables. Let senses rule. The word is pitch and pay. Trust none, for oaths are straws, men's faiths are wafer cakes, and Holdfast is the only dog, my duck. Therefore, capital be thy counselor. Go clear thy crystals. Yoke fellows in arms, let us to France. Like horse leeches, my boys, to suck, the very blood to suck.
And that's but unwholesome food, they say.
Touch her soft mouth and march.
Kissing the hostess.
Farewell, hostess.
I cannot kiss, that is the humor of it, but adieu.
Let huswifery appear. Keep close, I thee command.
Farewell, and you.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 4. The King of France and his court.
Wow, that was a fast one, guys. And his court plan their defense against King Henry's invasion. Exeter arrives to present the king with Henry's claim to the French throne, to threaten the French, and to return the Dauphin the insulting defiance he sent to Henry the tennis balls.
Scene 4. Flourish. Enter the French king, the Dauphin, the Dukes of Berry and Brittany,
the constable and others.
Thus comes the English with full power upon us, and more than carefully it us concerns to answer royally in our defenses. Therefore the Dukes of Berry and Brittany, of Brabant and of Orleans, shall make forth, and you, Prince of Dauphin, with all swift dispatch, to line and new repair our towns of war, with men of courage and with means defendant. For England his approaches makes as fierce as waters to the sucking of a gulf. It fits us then to be as provident as fear may teach us out of late examples, left by the fatal and neglected English upon our fields.
My most redoubted father, it is most meet we arm us against the foe. For peace itself should not so dull a kingdom, though war nor no known quarrel were in question, but that defenses, musters, and preparations should be maintained, assembled, and collected as were a war in expectation. Therefore I say, this meet we all go forth to view the sick and feeble parts of France. Let us do it with no show of fear. No, with no more than if we heard that England were busy with son Maurice stands. For my good liege, she is so idly king, her scepter so fantastically borne by a vain, giddy, shallow, humorous youth, that fear attends her not.
Oh, peace, Prince Dauphin, you are too much mistaken in this king. Question your grace the late ambassadors, with what great state you heard their embassy, how well supplied with noble counselors, how modest in exception, and withal how terrible in constant resolution, and you shall find his vanities forespent were but the outside of the Roman Brutus, covering discretion with a coat of folly, as gardeners do with ordure hide those roots that shall first spring and be most delicate.
Well, 'tis not so, my lord high constable. But though we think it so, it is no matter. In cases of defense, 'tis best to weigh the enemy more mighty than he seems. So the proportions of defense are filled, which of a weak and niggardly projection doth like a miser spoil his coat with scanting a little cloth.
Think we King Harry strong, and, princes, look you strongly armed to meet him. The kindred of him hath been fleshed upon us, and he is bred out of that bloody strain that haunted us in our familiar paths. Witness our too much memorable shame, when Cressy battle fatally was struck, and all our princes captived by the hand of that black name, Edward, Black Prince of Wales, whiles that his mountain sire, on mountains standing, up in the air, crowned with the golden sun, saw his heroical let's find out what this means. Fuck me in the fucking face. Heroical seed, and smiled to see him mangle the work of nature and deface the patterns that by God and by French fathers had 20 years been made. This is a stem of that victorious stock, and let us fear the native mightiness and fate of him.
Enter a messenger.
Ambassadors from Harry, King of England, do crave admittance to your majesty.
We'll give them present audience. Go and bring them.
Messenger exits.
You see, this chase is hotly followed, friends.
Turn head and stop pursuit, for coward dogs most spend their mouths when what they seem to threaten runs far before them. Good, my sovereign, take up the English short and let them know of what a monarchy you are the head. Self-love, my liege, is not so vile a sin as self-neglecting.
Enter Exeter with lords in attendance.
From our brother of England?
Give me a second, I was screenshotting that quote. Anyways, from him, and thus he greets your majesty. He wills you in the name of God Almighty that you divest yourself and lay apart the borrowed glories that, by gift of heaven, by law of nature and of nations, longs to him and to his heirs, namely the crown, and all wide-stretched honours that pertain by custom and the ordinance of times, unto the crown of France, that you may know 'tis no sinister nor no awkward claim, picked from the wormholes of long vanished days, nor from the dust of old oblivion raked. He sends you this most memorable line. He offers a paper. In every branch truly demonstrative, willing you overlook this pedigree, and when you find him evenly derived from his most famed of famous ancestors, Edward III, he bids you then resign your crown and kingdom, indirectly held from him, the native and true challenger.
Or else what follows?
Bloody constraint! For if you hide the crown, even in your hearts, there will he rake for it. Therefore in fierce tempest is he coming, in thunder and earthquake like a Jove, that if requiring fail he will compel, and bids you in the bowels of the Lord deliver up the crown, and to make mercy on the poor souls for whom this hungry war opens his vasty jaws. And on your head turning the the widow's tears, the orphan's cries, the dead men's blood, the privid maidens' groans for husbands, fathers, and betrothed lovers that shall be swallowed in this controversy. This is his claim, his threatening, and my message, unless the Dauphin be in presence here, to whom expressly I bring greeting to.
For us, we will consider of this further. Tomorrow shall you bear our full intent back to our brother of England.
For the Dauphin, I stand here for him. What to him from England?
Scorn and defiance, slight regard, contempt, and anything that may not misbecome the mighty sender, doth he prize you at. Thus says my king. And if your father's highness do not in grant of all demands at large, sweeten the bitter mock you sent his majesty, he'll call you to so hot an answer of it, that craves and woomy voltages of France shall chide your trespass and return your mock in second accent of his ordinance.
Say, if my father render fair return, it is against my will, for I desire nothing but odds with England. To that end, as matching to his youth and vanity, I did present him with the Paris balls.
He'll make your Paris Louvre shake for it, were it the mistress court of mighty Europe, and be assured you'll find a difference, as we his subjects have in wonder found between the promise of his greener days and these he masters now. Now he weighs time even to the utmost gain that you shall read in your own losses if he stay in France.
Tomorrow shall you know our mind at full.
Flourish. Dispatch us with all speed, lest that our king come here himself to question our delay, for he is footed in this land already.
You shall be soon dispatched with fair conditions. A night is but small breath and little pause to answer matters of this consequence.
Flourish, they exit. Act 3, Chorus. The chorus describes the embarkation of Henry's fleet for France, Henry's preparations to besiege the town of Harfleur, and the breakdown of talks between the French, who have offered Henry some land and their princess in marriage, and the English, who now begin the siege. Enter chorus. Thus with imagined wing our swift scene flies in motion of no less celerity than that of thought. Suppose that you have seen the well-appointed king at Dover pier embark his royalty and his brave fleet with silken streamers the young Phoebus fanning. Play with your fancies, and in them behold, upon the hempen tackle, ship boys climbing. Hear the shrill whistle which doth order give to sound confused. Behold the threadened sails, borne with the invisible and creeping wind, draw the huge bottoms through the furrowed sea, breasting the lofty surge. Oh, do but think you stand upon the rivage and behold a city on the inconstant billows dancing. For so appears this majestical fleet, holding due course to Harfleur. Follow, follow, grapple your minds to the sterns of this navy, and leave your England as dead midnight still, guarded with grandsires, babies, and old women, either past or not arrived to pith and puissance. For who is he whose chin is but enriched with one appearing hair that will not follow these culled and choice-drawn cavaliers to France? Work, work your thoughts, and therein see a siege. Behold the ordnance on their carriages, with fatal mouths gaping on girded Harfleur. Suppose the ambassador from the French comes back, tells Harry that the king doth offer him Catherine his daughter, and with her, to dowry, some petty and unprofitable dukedoms. The offer likes not, and the nimble gunner with linstock now devilish cannon touches. Alarum and chambers go off. And down goes all before them. Still be kind, and eke out our performance with your mind. He exits. Act 3, Scene 1. Henry delivers an oration to inspire his troops to take Harfleur. Enter King of England, Exeter, Bedford, and Gloucester. Alarum, enter soldiers with scaling ladders at Harfleur.
Once more into the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. In peace, there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favored rage. Then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Let it pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon. Let the brow o'erwhelm it with overwhelm it as fearfully as doth a gollid rock, o'erhang and jutty his confounded base, swilled with the wild and wasteful ocean. Now set the teeth and stretch the nostrils wide, hold hard the breath and bend up every spirit to his full height. On, you noblest of English, whose blood is fet from fathers of war-proof, fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. Dishonor not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you called fathers did beget you. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not, for there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble luster in your eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. The game is afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge cried God for Harry, England, and St. George.
Alarum and chambers go off. They exit. Act 3, Scene 2. Bardolph, Pistol, Nym, and the boy withdraw from the assault on Harfleur. They are driven back to it by Captain Fluellen. The boy tells us of his master's cowardice. Fluellen then discusses military tactics with Captain Gower, Captain Jemmy, and Captain MacMorris. Scene 2. Enter Nym, Bardolph, Pistol, and boy.
On, to the breach, to the breach!
Really, Corporal, stay. The knocks are too hot, and for mine own part, I have not a case of lives. The humor of it is too hot. That is the very plain song of it.
The plain song is most just, for humors do abound. Knocks go and come, God's vassals drop and die. And sword and shield and bloody field doth win immortal fame.
I would I were in an alehouse in London. I would give all my fame for a pot of ale in safety.
And I, if wishes would prevail with me, my purpose should not fail me, but thither would I hie.
As duly as not truly, but not as truly as the bird doth sing on bough. Enter Fluellen.
Shit, what line?
24.
20, yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. Up to the breach, you dogs. Avant, you cullions.
Be merciful, great Duke, to men of mold. Abate thy rage, abate thy manly rage, abate thy rage, great Duke. Good bogcock, abate thy rage. Use lenity, sweet Chuck.
These be good humors. Your honor wins bad humors.
All but the boy exit. As young as I am, I have observed these 3 swashers. I am boy to them all 3. But they 3, though they would serve me, could not be a man to me. For indeed 3 such antics do not amount to a man. For Bardolph, he is white-livered and red-faced, by the means whereof he faces it out but fights not. For Pistol, he hath a killing tongue and a quiet sword, by the means whereof he breaks words but keeps whole weapons. For Nym, he hath heard that men of few words are the best men, and therefore he scorns to say his prayers, lest he should be thought a coward. But his few bad words are matched with as few good deeds, for he never broke any man's head but his own, and that was against a post when he was drunk. They will steal anything and call it purchase. Bardolph stole a lute case, bore it 12 leagues, and sold it for 3 halfpence. Nym and Bardolph are sworn brothers in filching. In Calais they stole a fire shovel. I knew by that piece of service the men would carry coals. They would have me as familiar with men's pockets as their gloves or their handkerchiefs, which makes much against my manhood. If I should take from another's pocket to put into mine, for it is plain pocketing up of wrongs, I must leave them and seek some better service. Their villainy goes against my weak stomach, and therefore I must cast it up.
He exits. Enter Fluellen and Gower.
Captain Llewellyn, you must come presently to the mines. The Duke of Gloucester would speak with you.
To the mines? Tell you the Duke it is not so good to come to the mines, for, look you, the mines is not according to the disciplines of the war. The concavities of it is not sufficient, for look you, the adversary, you may discuss unto the Duke. Look you, is digged himself 4 yard under the countermines. By Cheshire, I think he will plow up all if there is not better directions.
The Duke of Gloucester, to whom the order of the siege is given, is altogether directed by an Irishman, a very valiant gentleman in faith.
It is Captain Macmorris, is it not?
I think it be.
By Cheshire, he is an ass, as in the world. I will verify as much in his beard. He has no more directions in the true disciplines of the wars, look you, of the Roman disciplines, than is a puppy dog.
Enter Captain Macmorris and Captain Jammy.
Here he comes, and the Scots captain, Captain Jammy, with him.
Captain Jammy is a marvelous valorous gentleman, that is certain, and of great expedition and knowledge in the ancient wars, upon my particular knowledge of his directions. By Cheshire, he will maintain his argument as well as any military man in the world in the disciplines of the pristine wars of the Romans.
I say good day, Captain Llewellyn.
God into your worship, good Captain James.
How now, Captain Macmorris? Have you quit the mines? Have the pioneers gone over?
By Chris, la, tis ill done. The work is give over. The trumpet sound the retreat. By my hand I swear, and my father's soul, the work is well done. It is give over. I would have blowed up the town, so Chris saved me, la, in an hour. Oh, 'tis ill done, 'tis ill done. By my hand, 'tis ill done.
Captain Macmorris, I beseech you now, will you vouchsafe me, look you, a few disputations with you as partly touching or concerning the disciplines of the war, the Roman wars? In the way of argument, look you, at friendly communication, partly to satisfy my opinion and partly for the satisfaction, look you, of my mind, as touching the direction of the military discipline, that is the point.
It shall be very good, good faith, good captain's bath, and I shall quit you with good leave, as I may take occasion that shall I marry.
It is no time to discourse. So Chris save me. The day is hot, and the weather, and the wars, and the king, and the dukes. It is no time to discourse. The town is besieged, and the trumpet call us to the breach, and we walk and we talk, and be Krish. Do nothing. 'Tis shame for us all. For God, shame me. 'Tis shame to stand still. It is shame by my hand. And there is throats to be cut, and works to be done, and there is nothing done. So, Christ, shame me, la.
By the myth, ere these eyes of mine take themselves to slumber, I'll do good service, or I'll lay the grant for it, aye, or go to death. And I'll pay it as valorously as I may, that shall I sorely do. That is the breath and the long. Mary, I wad full fain heard some question tween you tway.
Captain MacMorris, I think, look you, under your correction, there is not many of your nation.
Of my nation. What is my nation? Is a villain and a bastard and a nab and a rascal. What is my nation? Who talks of my nation?
Look you, if you take the matter otherwise than is meant, Captain MacMorris, peradventure I shall think you do not use me with that affability as indiscretion you ought to use me. Look you, being as good a man as yourself, both in the disciplines of war and in the derivation of my birth, and in other particularities.
I do not know you so good a man as myself. For Christ save me, I will cut off your head.
Oh.
Gentlemen both, you will mistake each other.
Aye, that's a foul fault.
A parley sounds.
The town sounds a parley.
Captain MacMorris, when there is more better opportunity to be required, look you, I will be so bold as to tell you I know the disciplines of war, and there is an end.
They exit. Act 3, Scene 3. Henry threatens the men of Harfleur with the destruction of the town and its population if they do not yield him. Fair. The governor surrenders the town to Henry, who spares its people. Scene 3. Enter the King of England and all his train before the gates. To the men of Harfleur.
How yet resolves the governor of the town? This is the latest parley we will admit. Therefore, to our best mercy give yourselves, or, like to men proud of destruction, defy us to our worst. For, as I am a soldier, a name that in my thoughts becomes me best, if I begin the battery once again, I will not leave the half-achieved Harfleur till in her ashes she lies buried. The gates of mercy shall be all shut up, and the fleshed soldier, rough and hard of heart, in liberty of bloody hand, shall range with conscience wide as hell, mowing like grass your fresh fair virgins and your flowering infants. What is it then to me if impious war, arrayed in flames like to the prince of fiends, do with his besmirched complexion all fell feats and linked to waste and desolation? What is it to me when you yourselves are cause? If your pure maidens fall into the hand of hot and forcing violation, what reign can hold licentious wickedness when down the hill he holds his fierce career? We may as bootless spend our vain command upon the enraged soldiers and their spoil, as send precepts to the Leviathan to come ashore. Therefore, you men of Harfleur, take pity of your town and of your people, whiles yet my soldiers are in my command, whiles yet the cool and temperate wind of grace o'erblows the filthy and contagious clouds of heady murder, spoil, and villainy. If not, why, in a moment look to see the blind and bloody soldier with foul hand desire the locks of your shrill shrieking daughters, your fathers taken by the silver beards and their most reverend heads dashed to the walls, your naked infants spitted upon pikes, while the mad mothers with their howls confused do break the clouds, as did the wives of Jewry at Herod's bloody hunting slaughtermen. What say you? Will you yield and this avoid, or guilty in defense be thus destroyed?
Enter Governor.
Our expectation hath this day an end. The Dauphin, whom of succors we entreated, returns us that his powers are not yet ready to raise so great a siege. Therefore, great king, we yield our town and yield our town and life to thy soft mercy. Enter our gates, dispose of us and ours, for we no longer are defensible.
Open your gates.
Governor exits.
Come, Uncle Exeter, go you and enter Harfleur. There remain and fortify it strongly against the French. Use mercy to them. All for us, dear uncle. The winter coming on and sickness growing upon our soldiers, we will retire to Calais. Tonight in Harfleur will we be your guest. Tomorrow for the march are we addressed.
Flourish, and they enter the town. Act 3, Scene 4, as it loads for me. An old gentlewoman, Alice, begins to teach English to Catherine, Princess of France.
So much better.
Scene 4, enter Catherine and Alice, an old gentlewoman.
Alice, tu étais en Angleterre et tu parlais bien de langage. Langage.
Madame,
Je te prie, monseigneur, il faut que je prenne à parler. Comment appelez-vous la main en anglais?
la main, elle est appelée the hand.
The hand. Et les doigts?
Les doigts, ma foi. Oh God, I'm gonna fake French. Julie, les dents. I don't remember how you said that. Mais
J'oubliais les doigts.
j'oublie les doigts. Mais j'ai mes souvenir. It's gonna turn German. Les doigts. J'ai pensé qu'ils sont appelés des fingers. Oui, des fingers.
La main, the hand. Les doigts, le finger. Je pense que je suis le bon écolier. J'ai gagné 2 mots d'anglais vêtements. Comment appelez-vous les anglais?
Les anglais, nous les appelons des nails.
Des nails. Écoutez, dis-moi si je parlais bien. The hand, the finger et the nails.
C'est bien, dit madame. Il est fort bon anglais.
Dis-moi l'anglais pour les bras
The arm, madame.
et le coude.
The elbow.
D'elbow. Je m'en fais la répétition de tout. Je m'en fais la répétition de tous les mots que vous m'avez appris dès à présent.
Il est trop difficile, madame, comme je pense.
Excusez-moi, Alice. Écoutez, time, the finger, the nails, d'arme, le bilbo.
D'elbow, madame.
Oh, Seigneur Dieu, je m'en oubliais d'elbow. Comment appelez-vous le col?
The nick, madame.
De nick. Et le menton?
The chin.
De signe. Le col de nick. Le menton de signe.
Oui, ça faute, on est invité pour vous prononcer les mots ainsi, tout que les nafites d'Angleterre.
Je ne doute point d'apprendre par les grâces de Dieu et en peu de temps.
N'avons-vous pas déjà oublié ce que je vous annoncé?
Non, je réciterai à vous prendre. The finger, the nails,
The nails, madame.
the nails, the arm, the elbow,
Ça vaudrait bon honneur d'elbow.
ainsi dis-je, the elbow, the knee et the signe. Comment appelez-vous les pieds et la robe?
Le foot, madame, est le count.
Le foot et le count. Oh Seigneur Dieu, ils sont les mondes sont mauvais, corruptibles, gros et impudiques et non pour les dames dans le dusé. Je ne voudrais prononcer ces mots avant les seigneurs de France. Pour tous les mots, pour le foot et le camp. Non, moi, je réciterai et autrefois ma leçon ensemble. Tant la finger des nerfs, d'âme, d'elbow, de nique, de signe, de foot, de camp.
Excellent, madame.
C'est assez pour une fois. Allons-nous à dîner?
Exit. Exit.
Oh my god. I understood all of it, but I can't say it.
Yup.
I can read, but I can't say it.
I'm gonna be so apologetic when Anne-Sophie and Kai watch this. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna hide. The
Well,
French,
they should have been here.
they should have, yes. Oh God, the French nobles speak of their shame at the successes of Henry's invasion. The French king plans to block Henry's march to Calais and orders the royal herald Montjoy sent to Henry to learn how much ransom Henry will pay for his release from certain capture by the French. Scene 5, enter King of France, the Dauphin, the Duke of Brittany, the Constable of France, and others.
Okay. 'Tis certain. Hold on one sec, guys. Who's there? Oh, thanks. 'Tis certain he hath passed the river Somme.
And if he be not fought withal, my lord, let us not live in France. Let us quit all and give our vineyards to a barbarous people.
Oh, Dieu vivant, shall a few sprays of us, the end, okay, the empty of our father's luxury, our scions, put in wild and savage stock, spurt up so suddenly into the clouds and overlook their grafters. Oh my God.
Normans, but bastard Normans, Norman bastards, what they must be, if they march along unfought withal, but I will send my dukedom to buy a slobbery and a dirty farm in the nook-shodden Isle of Albion.
Dieu de bataille, where have they this metal? Is not their climate foggy, raw, and dull, on whom, as in despite, the sun looks pale, killing their fruit with frowns? Can sodden water a drench for sorrend jades their barley broth, decoct their cold blood to such valiant heat? And shall our quick blood, spirited with wine, seem frosty? Oh, for honor of our land, let us not hang like roping icicles upon our houses' thatch, whilst a more frosty people sweat drops of gallant youth in our rich fields. Poor we may call them in their native lords.
By faith and honor, I won't say madame, our medals mock at us and plainly say our medal is bred out, and they will give their bodies to the lust of English youth, to new store France with bastard warriors.
They bid us to the English dancing schools and teach La Volta's high and swift corrantos, saying our grace is only in our heels and that we are most lofty runaways.
Where is Montjoy the herald? Speed him hence. Let him greet England with our shop defiance. Up, princess! And with spirit of honor edged more sharper than your swords, hie to the field. Charles Delabreth, High Constable of France, you Dukes of Orleans, Bourbon and of Berry, Alencon, Brabant, Bar and Burgundy, Jacques Chatillon, Rambures, Vaudemont, Beaumont, I'm butchering this. Grand Prix, Rousey, Falconbridge, Foyer, fuck me, Lestrade. Can you, Timmy, can you just read the
I tried, Chatillon, Lambouret, Beaumont, Grand Roussy, Falconbridge, Foy, Lestrade, Boussicon, and Charleroi? Yeah.
High Dukes, great princess, barons, lords, and knights, for your great seats now quit you of great shames. Bar Harry England, that sweeps through our land with pennons painted in the blood of Haufler, rush on his host, as doth the melted snow upon the valleys whose low vassal seat the Alps doth spit and void his realm upon. Go down upon him, and you have power enough, and in a captive chariot into Ruffin bring him our prisoner.
This becomes the great. Sorry am I his numbers are so few, his soldiers sick and famished in their march, for I am sure when he shall see our army, he'll drop his heart into the sink of fear, and for achievement offer us his ransom.
Therefore, Lord Constable, haste on Montjoy, and let him say to England that we send, to know that willing, and let him say to England that we send to know what willing ransoms he will give. Prince Dauphin, you shall stay with us in Ruffin.
Not so, I do beseech your majesty.
Be patient, for you shall remain with us. Now forth, Lord Constable and princes all, and quickly bring us word of England's fall.
They exit. Act 3, Scene 6. Captain Fluellen and Gower meet Pistol, who pleads for Bardolph, sentenced to die for robbery. Fluellen refuses to intervene. Pistol insults him and leaves. Henry enters and learns about Bardolph's sentence of death, which he upholds. Montjoy enters to urge that Henry propose a ransom. Henry offers only his body as ransom. Scene 6. Enter captains, English and Welsh. They're Welsh, guys.
That's why I know. Well, one of them, yeah.
Gower and Fluellen.
How now, Captain Fluellen, come you from the bridge?
I assure you there is very excellent services committed at the bridge.
Is the Duke of Exeter safe?
The Duke of Exeter is as magnanimous as Agamemnon, and a man that I love and honor with my soul and my heart and my duty and my life and my living and my uttermost power. He is not, God be praised and blessed, any hurt in the world, but keeps the bridge most valiantly, with excellent discipline. There is an ancient lieutenant there at the bridge. I think in my very conscience he is as valiant a man as Mark Antony, and he is a man of no estimation in the world. But I did see him do as gallant service.
What do you call him?
He is called Ancient Pistol.
I know him not.
Enter Pistol.
Here is the man.
Captain, I thee beseech to do me favors. The Duke of Exeter doth love thee well.
I praise God, and I have merited some love at his hands.
Bardolph, a soldier firm and sound of heart and of buxom valor, hath by cruel fate and giddy fortune's furious fickle wheel, that God is blind, that stands upon the rolling restless stone.
By your patience, Ancient Pistol, Fortune is painted blind with a muffler afore her eyes, to signify to you that Fortune is blind. And she is painted also with a wheel to signify to you, which is the moral of it, that she is turning and inconsistent, and mutability and variation, and her foot, look you, is fixed upon a spherical stone, which rolls and rolls and rolls. In good truth, the poet makes a most excellent description of it. Fortune is an excellent moral.
Fortune is Bardolph's foe and frowns on him, for he hath stole a pax and hanged must he be. A damned death. Let gallows gape for dog. Let man go free, and let not hemp his windpipe suffocate. But Exeter hath given the doom of death for pax of little price. Therefore, go speak, and Duke will hear thy voice, and let not Bardolph's vital thread be cut with edge of penny cord and vile reproach. Speak, Captain, for his life, and I will be requite.
Ancient Pistol, I do partly understand your meaning.
Why then rejoice therefore?
Certainly, Ancient, it is not a thing to rejoice at, for if, look you, he were my brother, I would desire the Duke to use his good pleasure and put him to execution, for discipline ought to be used.
Die and be damned, and figo for thy friendship.
It is well.
The fig of Spain.
Very good.
I'm muted. He exits.
Very good.
Why, this is an errant counterfeits rascal. I remember him now, a bod, a cut purse.
I'll assure you he uttered as brave words at the bridge as you shall see in a summer's day. But it is very well. What he has spoke to me, that is well. I warrant you, when time is served.
Why, 'tis a gull, a fool, a rogue that now and then goes to the wars to grace himself at his return into London under the form of a soldier. And such fellows are perfect in the great commanders' names, and they will learn you by rote where services were done. At such and such a sconce, at such a breach, at such a convoy. Who came off bravely? Who was shot? Who disgraced? What terms the enemy stood on? And this they can con perfectly in the phrase of war, which they trick up with new-tuned oaths. And what a beard of the general's cut and a horrid suit of the camp will do among foaming bottles and ale-washed wits is wonderful to be thought on. But you must learn to know such slanderers of the age, or else you must be marvelously mistook.
I tell you what, Captain Gower, I do perceive he is not the man that he would gladly make show to the world he is. If I find a hole in his coat, I will tell him my mind.
Drum and colours, enter the King of England and his poor soldiers, and Gloucester.
Hark you, the king is coming, and I must speak with him for the pridge. God bless your majesty.
How now, Llewellyn, camest thou from the bridge?
Aye, so please your majesty, the Duke of Exeter has very gallantly maintained the pridge. The French has gone off, look you, and there is gallant and most brave passages. Mary, the adversary, have possession of the pridge, but he is enforced to retire. And the Duke of Exeter is master of the pridge. I can tell your majesty, the Duke is a brave man.
What men have you lost, Llewellyn?
Oh, the perdition of the adversary hath been very great, reasonable great. Mary, for my part, I think the Duke hath lost never a man, but one that is like to be executed for robbing a church. One Bardolph, if your majesty know the man. His face is all buckles, and welts and knobs and flames of fire. And his lips blows at his nose, and it is like a coal of fire, sometimes blue and sometimes red, but his nose is executed, and his fire's out.
We would have all such offenders so cut off, and we give express charge that in our marches through the country there is nothing compelled from the villages, nothing taken but paid for, none of the French upbraided or abused in disdainful language, for when lenity and cruelty play for a kingdom, gentler gamester is the soonest winner.
Tucket, who is that? Tucket, enter Montjoy.
You know me by my habit,
Well, then I know thee. What shall I know of thee?
my master's mind.
Unfold it.
Thus says my king, say thou to Harry of England, though we seem dead, we did but sleep. Advantage is a better soldier than rashness. Tell him we built him at Harfleur, but that we thought not good to bruise an injury till it were full ripe. Now we speak upon our cue, our voice is imperial. England shall repent his follies, see his weakness, and admire our sufferings. Bid him therefore consider of his ransom, which must proportion the losses we have borne, the subjects we have lost, and the disgrace we have digested, which in wait to re-answer his pettiness would bow under. For our losses, his exchequer is too poor. For the infusion of our blood, the master of his kingdom too faint a number, and for our disgrace, his own person kneeling at our feet but a weak and worthless satisfaction. To this add defiance, and tell him for conclusion he hath betrayed his followers, whose condemnation is pronounced. So far, my king and master, so much my office.
What is thy name? I know thy quality.
Montjoy.
Thou dost thy office fairly. Turn thee back and tell thy king I do not seek him now, but could be willing to march on to Calais without impeachment. For, to say the sooth, though 'tis no wisdom to confess so much unto an enemy of craft and vantage, my people are with sickness much enfeebled, my numbers lessened, and those few I have almost no better than so many French, who, when they were in health, I tell thee, Harold, I thought upon one pair of English legs did march 3 Frenchmen. Yet forgive me, God, that I do brag thus. This is your heir of France, hath blown that vice in me. I must repent. Go therefore, tell thy master, here I am. My ransom is this frail and worthless trunk, my army but a weak and sickly guard, yet God before, tell him we will come on, though France himself and such another neighbor stand in our way. Here's for thy labor, Montjoy.
Gives money.
Go bid thy master well advise himself. If we may pass, we will. If we be hindered, we shall your tawny ground with your red blood discolor. And so, Montjoy, fare you well. The sum of all our answer is but this: we would not seek a battle as we are, nor as we are, we say we will not shun it. So tell your master.
I shall deliver so, thanks to your highness.
He exits.
I hope they will not come upon us now. We are in God's hand, brother, not in theirs. March to the bridge. It not draws toward night. Beyond the river, we will encamp ourselves, and on tomorrow bid them march away.
They exit. Act 3, Scene 7. On the eve of battle, the French nobles, confident of their army's superiority, engage in the verbal competition. Scene 7. Enter the Constable of France, the Lord Rambers, Orleans, Dauphin, with others.
I have the best armor of the world. Would it were day.
You have an excellent armor, but let my horse have his due.
It is the best horse of Europe.
Will it never be morning?
My lord of Orleans and my lord High Constable. You talk of horse and honor?
Ah, you are as well provided of both as any of the prince in the world.
What a long night it is. I will not change my horse for any of that threat on 4 past turns. Sa, ha! He bounced from the earth as if his entrails were hairs. Le cheval volant, the Pegasus, he allait narine de four. When I bestride him, I soar. I am a hawk. He trots the air. The earth sings when he touches it. The bass's horn of his hoof is more musical than the pipes of Hermie.
He's the color of the nutmeg.
And of the heat of the ginger. It is a beast for Perseus. He is pure air and fire, and the dull elements of earth and water never appear in him, but only in patient stillness while his rider mounts him. He is indeed a horse, and all other jades you may call beasts.
Indeed, my lord, it is a most absolute and excellent horse.
It is the prince of palfreys. His neigh is like the bidding of a monarch. His countenance enforces homage.
No more, cousin.
Nay, the man hath no wit that cannot, from the rising of the lark to the lodging of the lamb, very deserved praise on my palfrey. It is a theme as fluent as the sea. Turn the sands into eloquent tongues, and my horse is argument for them all. 'Tis a subject for a sovereign to reason on, and for a sovereign to ride on, and for the world, familiar to us and unknown, to lay apart the particular functions and wonder at him. I once read a sonnet in his praise, and began thus: wonder of nature.
I have heard a sonnet begin to one's mistress.
Then did they imitate that which I composed to my courser, for my horse is my mistress.
Oh,
Your mistress bears well.
Me well, which is the prescript praise and perfection of a good and particular mistress.
nay, for me thought yesterday your mistress shrewdly shook your back.
So perhaps yours.
Mine was not bridled.
Oh, then belike she was old and gentle, and you rode like a kern of Ireland. Your French hose off, and yours, and in your straight strossers.
You have good judgment in horsemanship.
Be warned by me, then. They that ride so and ride not warily fall into foul bogs. I had rather have my horse to my mistress.
I'd as lief have my mistress a jade.
I tell thee, constable, my mistress wears his own hair.
I could make as true a boast as that if I had a sow to my mistress.
Le chien est retourné à son propre vomissement. I don't know what the word is. Et la truie la vie Écrit la vie au bourbier. Oh, that was bad. Oh, makes use of anything.
Yet do I not use my horse for my mistress, or any such proverb so little kin to the purpose?
My lord constable, the armor that I saw in your tent tonight, are those stars or suns upon it?
Stars, my lord.
Some of them will fall tomorrow, I hope.
And yet my sky shall not want.
That may be for you bear a many superfluously and for more honor somewhere away.
Even as your horse bears your praises, who would trot as well were some of your brags dismounted?
Would I were able to load him with his desert, will it never be day? I will trot tomorrow a mile, and my way shall be paved with English faces.
I will not say so for fear I should be faced out of my way, but I would it were morning, for I would fain be about the ears of the English.
Who will go to hazard with me for 20 prisoners?
You must you must first go yourself to hazard ere you have them.
'Tis midnight. I'll go arm myself.
He
Bonsoir.
exits. Yes. He exits. The Dauphin longs for morning.
He longs to eat the English.
I think he will eat all he kills.
By the right hand of my lady, he's a gallant prince.
Whereby her foot, and she may tread out the oath.
He is simply the most active gentleman of France.
Doing his activity, and he will still be doing.
He never did harm that I heard of.
Nor will do none tomorrow. He will keep that good name still.
I know him to be valiant.
I was told that by one that knows him better than you.
What's he?
Marry, he told me so himself, and he said he cared not who knew it.
He needs not. It is no hidden virtue in him.
By my faith, sir, but it is. Never anybody saw it but his lackey. 'Tis a hooded valor, and when it appears, it will bait.
Ill will never set well.
I will cap that proverb with, there is flattery in friendship.
And I will take up that with the devil his due. Give the devil his due.
Well, please, there stands your friend for the devil. Have at the very eye of that proverb with a pox of the devil.
You are the better at proverbs. By how much a fool's bolt is soon shot.
You have shot over.
It is not the first time you are overshot. Enter a messenger.
My lord high constable, the English lie within 1,500 paces of your tents.
Who hath measured the ground?
The Lord Grand Prix.
A valiant and most expert gentleman. Would it were day! Alas, poor Harry of England, he longs not for the dawning as we do.
What a wretched and peevish fellow is this King of England to mope with his fat-brained followers so far out of his knowledge.
If the English had any apprehension, they would run away.
That they lack. For if their heads had any intellectual armor, they could never wear such heavy headpieces.
That island of England breeds very valiant creatures. Their mastiffs are of unmatchable courage.
Foolish curs, stop that run winking into the mouth of a Russian bear and have their heads crushed like rotten apples. You may as well say that's a valiant flea that dare eat his breakfast on the lip of a lion.
Just. And the men do sympathize with the mastiffs in robustious and rough coming on, leaving their wits with their wives. And then give them great meals of beef and iron and steel, and they will eat like wolves and fight like devils.
Aye, but these English are shrewdly out of beef.
Then shall we find tomorrow they have only stomachs to eat and none to fight. Now is it time to arm. Come, shall we about it?
It is now 2 o'clock, but let me see. By 10 we shall have each 100 Englishmen. They exit. I should have gone to the next page first. Act 4, Chorus. The chorus describes the confident French and the anxious English armies on the night before the Battle of Agincourt, and portrays Henry as passing among his troops, cheering them up. Again, the chorus laments that the stage and actors are so inadequate to the presentation of the battle to come. Enter chorus.
One of my favorite scenes in the world. Not the chorus, but... Now, entertain conjecture of a time when creeping murmur and the pouring dark fills the wide vessel of the universe. From camp to camp, through the foul womb of night, the hum of either army stilly sounds that the fixed sentinels almost receive the secret whispers of each other's watch. Fire answers fire, and through their pally flames each battle sees the other's umbered face. Steed threatens steed in high and boastful neighs, piercing the knight's dull ear, and from the tents the armorers accomplishing the knights, with busy hammers closing rivets up, give dreadful note of preparation. The country cocks do crow, the clocks do toll, and the third hour of drowsy morning named, proud of their numbers and secure in soul, the confident and over-lusty French do the low-rated English play at dice. And chide the cripple, tardy-gated knight, who, like a foul and ugly witch, doth limp so tediously away. The poor condemned English, like sacrifices by their watchful fires, sit patiently and inly ruminate the morning's danger. And their gesture sad, investing lank lean cheeks and war-worn coats, presenteth them unto the gazing moon so many horrid ghosts. Oh, now who will behold the royal captain of this ruined band, walking from watch to watch, from tent to tent? Let him cry praise and glory on his head. For forth he goes and visits all his host, bids them good morrow and with a modest smile, and calls them brothers, friends, and countrymen. Upon his royal face there is no note, how dread and army hath enrounded him, nor doth he dedicate one jot of color unto the weary and all-watched night, but freshly looks and overbears a taint with cheerful semblance and sweet majesty, that every wretch pining and paling before beholding him plucks comfort from his looks. A largesse universal, like the sun, his liberal eye doth give to everyone, thawing cold fear that mean and gentle all behold, as may unworthiness define, a little touch of Harry in the night. And so our scene must to the battle fly, where, oh, for pity, we shall much disgrace with 4 or 5 most vile and ragged foils, right ill disposed in brawl ridiculous, the name of Agincourt. Yet sit and see, minding true things by what their mockeries be.
He exits. Act 4, Scene 1. Henry borrows Erpingham's cloak and, in this disguise, passes through his camp, meeting Pistol, overhearing a conversation between Fluellen and Gower, and getting into an argument with one of his soldiers, Michael Williams, about the king's responsibility for the spiritual fate of those of his soldiers who die in battle. Henry, in disguise, and Williams postpone their disagreement until after the battle, exchanging gloves as pledges to fight with each other later. Alone, Henry laments the care that accompanies his crown, and then prays that God will not avenge upon him in the upcoming battle his father's usurpation of Richard II's throne and instigation of Richard's death. Scene 1. Enter the King of England, Bedford and Gloucester.
Gloucester, 'tis true that we are in great danger, the greater therefore should our courage be. Good morrow, brother Bedford. God Almighty, there is some soul of goodness in things evil, would men observingly distill it out. For our bad neighbor makes us early stirrers, which is both healthful and good husbandry. Besides, they are our outward consciences and preachers to us all, admonishing that we should dress us fairly for our end. Thus must we gather honey from the weed and make a moral of the devil himself.
Enter Erpingham.
Good morrow, old Sir Thomas Erpingham. A good soft pillow for that good white head were better than a churlish turf of France.
Not so, my liege. This lodging likes me better, since I may say, now lie I like a king.
'Tis good for men to love their present pains upon example, so the spirit is eased. And when the mind is quickened out of doubt, the organs, though defunct and dead before, break up their drowsy grave and newly move with casted sloth and fresh legarity. Lend me thy cloak, Sir Thomas.
He puts on Erpingham's cloaks.
Brothers both, commend me to the princes in our camp. Do my good morrow to them, and anon desire them all to my pavilion. Oh, we shall, my liege.
Shall I attend your grace?
No, my good knight. Go with my brothers to my lords of England, and I and my bosom must debate a while, and then I would no other company.
The Lord in heaven bless thee, noble Harry.
All but the king exit.
God a mercy, old heart, thou speaks cheerfully.
Enter Pistol.
Ki vula, a friend. Discuss unto me, art thou officer, or art thou base, common, and popular? I am a gentleman of a company. Trailst thou the puissant pike? Even so. What are you? As good a gentleman as the emperor. Then you are better than the king. The king's a bawcock and a heart of gold, a lad of life, an imp of fame, of parents good, of fist most valiant. I kiss his dirty shoe, and from heartstring I love the lovely bully. What is thy name? Harry Leroy. Leroy, a Cornish name. Art thou of Cornish crew? No, I am a Welshman. Knowst thou Fluellen? Yes. Tell him I'll knock his leek about his pate upon St. Davy's Day. Do not you wear your dagger in your cap that day, lest he knock that about yours. Art thou his friend? And his kinsman too. Figo for thee, then. I thank you. God be with you. My name is Pistol called.
He exits.
It sorts well with your fierceness.
He steps aside. Enter Fluellen and Gower.
Captain Llewellyn.
Oh, in the name of Jesu Christ, speak fewer. It is the greatest admiration in the universal world when the true and ancient prerogative. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, let's see what this is. Let's see how to pronounce this word.
It's prerogatives, but with a dialect, because he's.
That would do it. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, in the greatest admiration in the universal world, when the true and ancient prerogatives and laws of the war is not kept. If you would take the pains but to examine the wars of Pompey the Great, you shall find, I warrant you, that there is no tittle-tattle nor piddle-babble in Pompey's camp. I warrant you, you shall find the ceremonies of the wars and the cares of it and the forms of it and the sobriety of it and the modesty of it to be otherwise.
Why, the enemy is loud. You hear him all night.
If the enemy is an ass and a fool and a prating coxcomb, is it meet, think you, that we should also look you be an ass and a fool and a prating coxcomb in your own conscience now?
You speak lower.
I pray you and beseech you that you will.
Gower and Fluellen exit.
Though it appear a little out of fashion, there is much care and valor in this Welshman.
Enter 3 soldiers. John Bates, Alexander Court, and Michael Williams. Brother John Bates, is not that the morning which breaks younger?
I think it be, but we have no great cause to desire the approach of day.
We see yonder the beginning of the day, but I think we shall never see the end of it. Who goes there?
A friend.
Under what captain serves you?
Under Sir Thomas Erpingham.
A good old commander and a most kind gentleman. I pray you, what thinks he of our estate?
Even as men are racked upon a sand that look to be washed off the next tide.
He hath not told his thought to the king?
No, nor it is not meet he should, for nor it is not meet he should, for though I speak it to you, I think the king is but a man as I am. The violet smells to him as it doth to me, the element shows to him as it doth to me. All his senses have but human conditions. His ceremonies laid by, in his nakedness he appears but a man. And though his affections are higher mounted than ours, yet when they stoop with the like wing. Therefore, when he sees reason of fears as we do, his fears out of doubt be of the same relish as ours are. Yet in reason no man should possess him with any appearance of fear, lest he by showing it should dishearten his army.
He may show what outward courage he will, but I believe, as cold a night as 'tis, he could wish himself in Thames up to the neck. And so I would he were, and I by him at all adventures, so we were quit here.
By my troth, I will speak my conscience of the king. I think he would not wish himself anywhere but where he is.
Then I would he were here alone, and so should he be sure to be ransomed, and of many poor men's lives saved.
I dare say you love him not so ill to wish him here alone. Howsoever you speak this to feel other men's minds. Methinks I could not die anywhere so contented as in the king's company, his cause being just and his quarrel honorable.
That's more than we know.
Aye, or more than we should seek after. For we know enough if we know we are the king's subjects. If his cause be wrong, our obedience to the king wipes the crime of it out of us.
But if the cause be not good, the king himself had a heavy reckoning to make when all those legs and arms and heads chopped off in a battle shall join together at the latter day and cry all, we died as such a plague, some swearing, some crying for a surgeon, some upon their wives left poor behind them, some upon the debts they own, some upon the children while he left. I'm afeard there are few die well that die in a battle, for how can they charitably dispose of anything when blood is their argument? Now, if these men do not die well, it may be a black matter for the king that led them to it, who to disobey were against all proportion of subjection.
So if a son that is by his father sent about merchandise to sinfully miscarry upon the sea, the imputation of his wickedness by your rule should be imposed upon his father that sent him. Or if a servant under his master's command transporting a sum of money be assailed by robbers and die in many irreconciled iniquities, you may call the business of the master and the author of the servant's damnation. But this is not so. The king is not bound to answer the particular endings of his soldiers, the father of his son, nor the master of his servant, for they purpose not their death when they purpose their services. Besides, there is no king, be his cause never so spotless, if it come to the arbitrament of swords, can try it out with all unspotted soldiers. Some peradventure have on them the guilt of premeditated and contrived murder, some of beguiling virgins with the broken seals of perjury, some making the wars their bulwark, that have before gored and the gentle bosom of peace with pillage and robbery. Now, if these men have defeated the law and outrun native punishment, though they can outstrip men, they have no wings to fly from God. War is his beetle. War is his vengeance. So that here men are punished for before breach of the king's laws, and now the king's quarrel. Where they feared the death, they have borne life away, and where they would be safe, they perish. Then if they die unprovided, no more is the king guilty of their damnation than he was before guilty of those impieties for which they are now visited. Every subject's duty is the king's, but every subject's soul is his own. Therefore should every soldier in the wars do as every sick man in his bed, wash every mote out of his conscience. And dying so, death is to him advantage, or not dying, the time was blessedly lost wherein such perturbation was gained. And in him that escapes. It were not sin to think that, making God so free an offer. He let him outlive that day to see his greatness and to teach others how they should prepare.
'Tis certain every man that dies ill, the ill upon his own head, the king is not to answer to it.
I do not desire he should answer for me, and yet I determined to fight lustily for him.
I myself heard the king say he would not be ransomed.
Aye, he said so to make us fight cheerfully, but when our throats are cut, he may be ransomed, and we're never the wiser.
If I live to see it, I will never trust his word after.
You pay him then. That's a perilous shot out of an elder gun that a poor and private displeasure can do against a monarch. You may as well go about to turn the sun to ice with fanning in his face with a peacock's feather. You'll never trust his word after. Come, 'tis a foolish saying.
Your reproof is something too round. I should be angry with you if the time were convenient.
Let it be a quarrel between us if you live.
I embrace it.
How shall I know thee again?
Give me any gage of thine, and I will wear it in my bonnet. Then, if ever thou darest acknowledge it, I will give it my quarrel.
Here's my glove. Give me another of thine.
There.
They exchange gloves.
This will I also wear in my cap. If ever thou come to me and say after tomorrow, this is my glove, by this hand I will take thee a box on the ear.
If ever I live to see it, I will challenge it.
Thou dares as well be hanged.
Well, I will do it, though I take thee in the king's company.
Keep thy word. Fare thee well.
Be friends, you English fools, be friends. We have French quarrels enough, if you could tell how to reckon.
Indeed, the French may lay 20 French crowns to one they will beat us, for they bear them on their shoulders. But it is no English treason to cut French crowns, and tomorrow the king himself will be a clipper.
Soldiers exit.
On the king, let our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the king. We must bear all. O hard condition, twin born with greatness, subject to the breath of every fool whose sense no more can feel but his own wringing. What infinite heart's ease must kings neglect that private men enjoy? And what have kings that privates have not to, save ceremony, save general ceremony? And what art thou, thou idle ceremony? What kind of god art thou that sufferest more of mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? What are thy rents? What are thy comings in? O ceremony, show me but thy worth. What is thy soul of adoration? Art thou aught else but place, degree, and form, creating awe and fear in other men, wherein thou art less happy being feared than they are in fearing? What drink'st thou oft instead of homage sweet, but poisoned flattery? Oh, be sick, greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee cure. Think'st thou the fiery fever will go out with titles blown from adulation? Will it give place to flexure and low bending? Canst thou, when thou command'st the beggar's knee, command the health of it? No, thou proud dream, thou placed so subtly with the king's repose. I am a king that find thee, and I know 'tis not the balm, the scepter and the ball, the sword, the mace, the crown imperial, the intertissued robe of gold and pearl, the farced title running for the king, the throne he sits on, nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world. No, not all these thrice gorgeous ceremony, not all these laid in bed majestical can sleep so soundly as the wretched slave who, with a body filled and vacant mind, gets him to rest, crammed with distressful bread, never sees horrid night, the child of hell, but like a lackey from the rise to set, sweats in the eyes of Phoebus, and all night sleeps in Elysium. Next day after dawn doth rise and help Hyperion to his horse, and follows so the ever-running year with profitable labor to his grave. And but for ceremony, such a wretch, winding up days with toil and nights with sleep, had the forehand advantage of a king. The slave, a member of the country's peace, enjoys it, but in gross brain little wots what watch the king keeps to maintain the peace, whose hours the peasant best advantages.
My lord, your nobles, jealous of your absence, seek
Nobles, jealous of your absence, seek through your camp to find you.
Good old knight, collect them all together at my tent. I'll be before thee.
I shall do it, my lord.
He exits.
O god of battle, steel my soldiers' hearts. Possess them not with fear. Take from them now the sense of reckoning, or the opposed numbers, pluck their hearts from them. Not today, O Lord, oh, not today. Think not upon the fault my father made in compassing the crown. I, Richard's body, have interred new, and on it have bestowed more contrite tears than from it issued forced drops of blood. 500 poor I have in yearly pay, who twice a day their withered hands hold up toward heaven to pardon blood. And I have built 2 chantries where the sad and solemn priests sing still for Richard's soul. More will I do, though all that I can do is nothing worth, since that my penitence comes after all, imploring pardon.
Enter Gloucester.
My liege, my brother Gloucester's voice, I know thy errand. I will go with thee. Today, my friends, and all things stay for me.
They exit. Act 4, Scene 2. The French nobles, about to fight, lament that the English are so few and so weak. Enter the Dauphin, Orleans, Rambouillet, and Beaumont. The sun doth gild our armor. Up, my lords.
Montecheval, my horse, valet, lackey, ha!
Oh, brave spirit!
Viens les eaux éthers.
Rien, puis, l'air et feu.
Sue, cousin Orleans.
Enter Constable.
Now, my lord constable,
Mark how our steeds for present, nay, service nay.
mount them and make incision in their heights, that their hot blood may spin in English eyes and do them with superfluous courage. Ha!
What? Will you have them weep our horses' blood? How shall we then behold their natural tears?
Enter Messenger.
The English are embattled, you French peers.
To horse, you gallant princes, straight to horse. Do but behold yon poor and starved band, and your fair so shall suck away their souls, leaving them but the shales and husks of men. There is not work enough for all our hands, scarce blood enough in all their sickly veins to give each naked kirtle axe a stain, that our French gallants shall today draw out and sheathe for lack of sport. Let us but blow on them, and the vapor of our valor will overrun them. 'Tis positive against all exceptions, lords, that our superfluous lackeys and our peasants, who in unnecessary action swarm about our squares of battle, were enough to purge this field of such a hilding foe, though we upon their mountains bases by took stand for idle speculation, but that our honors must not. What's to say? A very little let us do, and all is done. Then let the trumpet sound, the tucket sonance, and the note to mount, for our approach shall so much dare the field that England shall couch down in fear and yield.
Enter Grand Prix.
Why do you stay so long, my lords of France? Yon island carrions, desperate of their bones, ill-favored become the morning field. Their ragged curtains poorly are let loose, and our air shakes them, passing scornfully. Thigmar seems bankrupt in their beggared host, and faintly through a rusty beaver peeps. The horsemen sit like fixed candlesticks, with torch staves in their hands, and their poor jades lop down their heads, drooping the hides and hips. The gummed down roping from their pale dead eyes, and in their pale dull mouths, and gemmeled bit lies foul with trowed grass, still and motionless, and their executors, the knavish crows, fly over them all, impatient for their hour. Description cannot suit itself in words to demonstrate the life of such a battle in life so lifeless as it shows itself.
They have said their prayers, and they stay for death.
Shall we go send them dinners and fresh suits and give their fasting horses provender and after fight with them?
I stay but for my guard. On to the field. I will the banner from a trumpet take and use it for my haste. Come away. The sun is high, and we outwear the day.
They exit. Act 4, Scene 3. Henry delivers an oration to his troops, urging them to win glory in the battle. Montjoy, again, comes to establish the terms of Henry's ransom, and Henry, again, refuses to be ransomed should he be defeated and captured. Scene 3. Enter Gloucester, Bedford, Exeter, Epringham, with all his host, Salisbury and Westmoreland.
Where's the king?
The king himself is rode to view their battle.
Fighting men that have full 70,000.
There's 5 to 1, besides they are all fresh.
God's arms strike with us. 'Tis a fearful odds. God be with you, princes all. I'll to my charge. If we no more meet till we meet in heaven, then joyfully, my noble lord of Bedford, my dear Lord Gloucester, and my good Lord Exeter, and my kind kinsmen, warriors all, adieu.
Farewell, good Salisbury, and good luck go with thee. And yet I do thee wrong to mind thee of it, for thou art famed of the firm truth of valor.
Farewell, kind lord. Fight valiantly today.
Salisbury exits.
He is as full of valor as of kindness, princely in both.
Enter the King of England.
Oh, that we now had here but 1/10,000 of those men in England that do no work today.
What's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss. And if we live, and if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive. No, faith, my cuz, wish not a man from England. God's peace I would not lose so great an honor as one man more, methinks, would share from me, for the best hope I have. Oh, I do not wish one more. Rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put in his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispin. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand tiptoe when this day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispin. He that shall see this day and live old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Crispin. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot. But he'll remember all with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispin shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We happy few, we band of brothers, for today he that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap whilst any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's day.
Enter Salisbury.
My sovereign lord, bestow yourself with speed. The French are bravely in their battle set, and will with all expedients charge on us.
All things are ready, if our minds be so.
Perish the man whose mind is backward now.
Thou dost not wish more help from England, cuz?
God's will, my liege, would you and I alone, without more help, could fight this royal battle.
Why, now thou hast unwished 5,000 men, which likes me better than to wish us one. You know your places. God be with you all.
Tucket, enter Montjoy.
Once more I come to know of thee, King Harry, if for thy ransom thou wilt now compound, before thy most assured overthrow. For certainly thou art so near the gov, thou needs must be engluted. Besides, in mercy the constable desires thee, thou wilt mind thy followers of repentance, that their souls may make the peaceful and the sweet retire from off these fields where wretches their poor bodies must lie and fester.
Who hath sent thee now?
The constable of France.
I pray thee, bear my former answer back. Bid them achieve me and then sell my bones. Good God, why should they mock poor fellows thus? The man that once did sell the lion's skin while the beast lived was killed with hunting him. And many of our bodies shall no doubt find native graves, upon the which I trust shall witness live in brass of this day's work. And those that leave their valiant bones in France, dying like men, though buried in your dunghills, shall be famed. For there the sun shall greet them, and draw their honors reeking up to heaven, leaving their earthly parts to choke your clime, the smell whereof shall breed a plague in France. Mark then, abounding valor in our English, that being dead, like to the bullets crazing, break out into a second course of mischief, killing in relapse of mortality. Let me speak proudly. Tell the constable we are but warriors for the working day. Our gayness and our guilt are all besmirched with rainy marching in the painful field. There's not a piece of feather in our host. Good argument, I hope we will not lie. And time hath worn us into slovenry. But by the mass, our hearts are in the trim, and my poor soldiers tell me, yet ere night they'll be in fresher robes, or they will pluck the gay new coats o'er the French soldiers' heads and turn them out of service. If they do this, as if God please they shall, my ransom then will soon be levied. Harold, save thou thy labor. Come thou no more for ransom, gentle Harold. They shall have none, I swear, by these my joints, which if they have, as I will leave them, shall yield them little. Tell the constable.
I shall, King Harry, and so fare thee well. Thou never shall hear Harold any more.
I fear thou wilt once more come again for a ransom.
Montjoy exits. Enter York.
Go for
On
it.
my knee, I beg. What? The
Go,
the leading of the byword.
Take it, brave York.
York rises.
Now, soldiers, march away, and how thou pleasest God dispose the day.
They exit Act 4, Scene 4.
A French soldier surrenders to Pistol, who threatens him with death until the soldier promises to pay a ransom of 200 gold coins.
Right on.
Scene 4, Alarum excursions enter Pistol, French soldier, and boy.
Yield, cur.
Je pense que vous êtes... Je pense que vous êtes les gentilshommes et bonne qualité.
Guilty, call me and custer me. Art thou a gentleman? What is thy name? Discuss.
Oh, Seigneur Dieu.
Oh, Signor Du should be a gentleman. Repend my words, O Signor Du, and mark. O Signor Du, thou diest on point of fox, except, O Signor, thou do give me an egregious ransom.
Oh, prenez miséricorde, miséricorde. I pity moi.
Moi shall not serve. I will have 40 mois, or I will fetch thy ram out of thy throat in drops of crimson blood.
Est-il impossible de... Est-il impossible de choper la force de ton bras?
Rosker, thou damned and luxurious mountain goat, offers me brass?
Oh, pardonnez-moi.
Sayest thou me so? Is that a ton of mois? Come hither, boy. Ask me this slave in French, what is his name?
In Comtesse, comment êtes-vous appelé?
Monsieur Lefer.
He says his name is Master Lefer.
Master Fur. I'll fur him and firk him and ferret him. Discuss the same in French unto him.
I do not know the French for fur and ferret and firk.
Bid him prepare, for I will cut his throat.
Que dit-il, monsieur?
Il me commande à vous dire que vous faites-vous prêt, car que cela date ici est disposé tout à cette heure de couper votre gorge.
Oi, couple gorge, permafoy, peasant, unless thou give me crowns, brave crowns, or mangled shalt thou be by this my sword.
Oh, je vous supplie, pour l'amour de Dieu, me pardonnez. Je suis le gentilhomme et bon maison. Garde ma vie et je vous donnerai 200 écus.
What are his words?
He prays you to save his life. He is gentleman of a good house, and for his ransom he will give you 200 crowns.
Tell him my fury shall abate, and the crowns will take.
Petit monsieur? Nope.
Petit monsieur, que dit-il?
Oh, encore qu'il escompte son gérement des podneurs aucun prisoner. Néanmoins, pour les écus que vous les avez promis, il est content à vous donner la liberté et le franchisement. French soldier kneels.
Sous mes rangs, je vous donne 1000 remerciements et je m'estime que j'ai tombé entre les mains d'un chevalier. Je prends le plus brave Ferdinand et très distingué seigneur d'Angleterre.
Expound unto me, boy.
He gives you upon his knees 1,000 thanks, and he esteems himself happy that he hath fallen into the hands of one, as he thinks, the most brave, valorous, and thrice worthy Signor of England.
As I suck my blood, I will some mercy show. Follow me.
Suivez-vous le grand capitaine? The French soldier stands up, he and pistol exit. I did never know so full of voice issue from so empty a heart. But the saying is true. The empty vessel makes the greatest sound. Bardolph and Nym had 10 times more valor than this roaring devil in the old play, and every one may pare his nails with a wooden dagger, and they are both hanged. And so would this be if he durst steal anything adventurously. I must stay with the lackeys, with the luggage of our camp. The French might have a good prey of us if he knew it, for there is none to guard it but boys. He exits. Act 4, Scene 5. Loads. Slowly. The French nobles, shamed in their defeat, decide to die fighting. Scene 5. Enter Constable, Orleans, Bourbon, Dauphin, and Rambourg.
Oh, diable.
Oh, Seigneur, le jour est perdu, tout est perdu.
Votre ma vie, all is confounded all. Reproach and everlasting shame sits mocking in our plumes.
A short alarum.
Oh, méchant fortune, do not run away.
Why, all our ranks are broke.
Oh, perdurable shame, let's stab ourselves. Be these the wretches that we played at dice for?
Is this the king we sent to his for his ransom?
Jacob.
Fuck. Where? What line, guys? Sorry.
12?
Fuck me in the fucking face. Shame. There it is. Shame and eternal shame. Nothing but shame. Let us die. In once more, back again. And he that will not follow Bourbon now, let him go hence, and with his cap in hand, like a base pander, hold the chamber door, whilst by a slave no gentler than my dog, his fairest daughter, is contaminate.
Warrior that hath spoiled us, friend us now. Let us on heaps go offer up our lives.
We are enough yet living in the field to smother up the English in our throngs, if any order might be thought upon.
The devil take order now. All to the throng. Let life be short, else shame will be too long.
They exit Act 4, Scene 6. Henry, in doubt about the outcome of the battle, hears of York's and Suffolk's death, and then, when a French call to arms is sounded again, orders his troops to kill the prisoners. Alarum! Scene 6, Alarum! Enter the King of England and his train with prisoners.
Well, have we done, thrice valiant countrymen, but all's not done. Let's keep the French the field.
Enter Exeter. The Duke of York commends him to your majesty.
Lives, see you, good uncle? Thrice within this hour I saw him down, thrice up again and fighting. From helmet to the spur all blood he was.
In which array brave soldier doth he lie, larding the plain and his bloody side. Yoke fellow to his honour owing wounds, the noble Earl of Suffolk also lies. Suffolk first died, and York, all haggled over, comes to him where in gore he lay ensteeped, and takes him by the beard, kisses the gashes. That bloodily did yawn upon his face, and cries, "Tarry, my cousin Suffolk! My soul shall thine keep company to heaven. Tarry, sweet soul, for mine, then fly abreast, as in this glorious and well-foughten field we keep together in our chivalry." Upon these words I came, and cheered him up. He smiled me in the face, wrought me his hand, and with a feeble grip says, my lord, commend my service to my sovereign." So he did turn, and over Suffolk's neck he threw his wounded arms, and kissed his lips, and so espoused to death with blood he sealed a testament of noble ending love. The pretty and sweet manner of it forced those waters from me which I would have stopped, but I had not so much man in me, and all my mother came into mine eyes, and gave me up to tears.
I blame you not, for hearing this I must perforce compound with my full eyes, or they will issue too.
Alarum.
But hark, what new alarm is this same? The French have reinforced their scattered men, and every soldier kill his prisoners, give the word through.
They exit. Act 4, Scene 7. Fluellen, in conversation with Gower, compares Henry to classical worded conqueror Alexander the Great. Montjoy arrives to concede the French defeat. Williams appears with Henry's glove, which Henry does not acknowledge. Instead, Henry sends Fluellen to challenge Williams, and then, to prevent the fight certain to ensue, sends Warwick and Gloucester after Fluellen. Enter Fluellen and Gower.
Kill the poise and the luggage. 'Tis expressly against the law of arms. 'Tis as errant a piece of knavery, mark you now, as can be affert in your conscience now, is it not?
It is certain there's not a boy left alive, and the cowardly rascals that ran from the battle have done the slaughter. Besides, they have burned and carried away all that it was in the king's tent, wherefore the king most worthily hath caused every soldier to cut his prisoner's throat. Oh, 'tis a gallant king.
Aye, he was born at Monmouth, Captain Gower. What call you the town's name where Alexander the Pig was born?
Alexander the Great.
Why, I pray you, is not Pig great? The pig, or the great, or the mighty, or the huge, or the magnanimous, or all one reckoning, save the phrase is a little variation. Save the phrase is a little variations.
I think Alexander the Great was born in Macedon. His father was called Philip of Macedon, as I take it.
I think it is in Macedon where Alexander is born. I tell you, Captain, if you look in the maps of the world, I warrant you shall find, in the comparisons between Macedon and Monmouth, that the situations, look you, is both alike. There is a river in Macedon, and there is also, moreover, a river at Monmouth. It is called Wye at Monmouth, but it is out of my brains what is the name of the other river. But 'tis all one. 'Tis alike as my fingers is to my fingers, and there is salmons in both. If you mark Alexander's life well, Harry of Monmouth's life is come after its indifference well, for there is figures in all things. Alexander, God knows and you know, in his rages and his furies and his wraths and his cholers and his moods and his displeasures and his indignations, and also being a little intoxicates in his prains, did, in his ales and his angers, look you, kill his best friend, Cleitus.
Our king is not like him in that. He never killed any of his friends.
It is not well done, mark you now, to take the tales out of my mouth ere it is made and finished. I speak but in the figures and comparisons of it. As Alexander killed his friend Cleitus, being in his ales and his cups, so also Harry Monmouth, being in his right wits and his good judgments, turned away the fat knight with the great belly doublet. And he was full of jests and gipes and knaveries and mocks. I have forgot his name.
Sir John Falstaff.
What is he? I'll tell you, there is good men porn at Monmouth.
Here comes His Majesty.
And alarum, enter King Harry, Exeter, Warwick, Gloucester, heralds, and Bourbon with other prisoners flourish.
I was not angry since I came to France until this instant. Take a trumpet, herald. Ride thou into the horsemen on yond hill. If they will fight with us, bid them come down, or void the field. They do offend our sight. Or if they will do neither, we will come to them and make them scur away as swift as stones and force it from the Assyrian slings. Besides, we'll cut the throats of those we have, and not a man of them that we shall take shall taste our mercy. Go and tell them so.
Enter Montjoy.
Here comes the herald of the French, my liege.
His eyes are humbler than they used to be. How now? What means this, herald? Knowest thou not that I have fined these bones of mine for ransom? Come, thou again for ransom?
No, great king, I come to thee for charitable license, that we may wander over this bloody field to book our dead, and then to bury them, to sort our nobles from our common men, for many of our princes, woe the while, lie drowned and soaked in mercenary blood. And so do our vulgar drench their peasant limbs in blood of princes, and the wounded steeds fetlock deep in gore, and with wild rage jerk out their armored heels at their dead masters, killing them twice. Oh, give us leave, great king, to view the field in safety and dispose of your dead bodies.
I tell thee truly, Harold, I know not if the day be ours or no, or yet a many of your horsemen peer and gallop over the field.
The day is yours.
Praise be to God, and not our strength for it. What is this castle called that stands hard by?
They call it Agincourt.
And called we this the field of Agincourt, fought on the day of Crispin Crispinus. Crispianus.
Llewellyn.
What line?
97?
7.
Fuck. Okay. Your grandfather of famous memory, and please your majesty, and your great uncle Edward the Plaque Prince of Wales, as I have read in the chronicles, fought a most brave battle here in France.
They did, Llewellyn.
Your majesty says very true. If your majesty's is remembered of it, the Welsmen did good service in a garden where leeks did grow, wearing leeks in their Monmouth caps, which, your majesty know, to this hour is an honorable badge of the service. And I do believe your majesty takes no scorn to wear the leek upon St. Tavi's Day.
I wear it for a memorable honor, for I am Welsh, you know, a good countryman.
All the water in Wye cannot wash your majesty's Welsh blood out of your body. I can tell you that. God bless it and preserve it as long as it please his grace and his majesty too.
Thanks, good my countryman.
By Jeshu, I am your majesty's countryman. I care not who know it. I will confess it to all the world. I need not to be ashamed of your majesty. Praised be God, so long as your majesty is an honest man.
God, keep me so. Our heralds go with him. Bring me just notice of the numbers dead on both our parts.
Montjoy, English heralds, and Gower exit. Enter Williams.
Call yonder fellow hither.
Soldier, you must come to the king.
Soldier, why wearest thou that glove in thy cap?
Please your majesty, 'tis the gage of one that I should fight withal, if he be alive.
An Englishman?
And please your majesty, a rascal that swaggered with me last night, who, if alive and ever dare to challenge this glove, I have sworn to take him a box over the ear, or if I can see my glove in his cap, which he swore, as he was a soldier, he would wear if alive, I would strike it out soundly.
What think you, Captain Llewellyn? Is it fit this soldier keep his oath?
He is a craven and a villain else, and to please your majesty in my conscience.
It may be his enemy is a gentleman of great sort, quite from the answer of his degree.
Though he be as good a gentleman as the devil is, as Lucifer and Beelzebub himself, it is necessary, look your grace, that he keep his vow and his oath. If he be perjured, see you now his reputation is as errant a villain and a jacksauce as ever his black shoe trod upon God's ground and his earth in my conscience law.
Then keep thy vow, sirrah, when thou meetst the fellow.
So I will, my liege, as I live.
Who servest thou under?
Under Captain Gower, my liege.
Gower is a good captain, and his good knowledge and literature in the wars.
Call him hither to me, soldier.
I will, my liege.
He exits, giving Llewellyn William's glove.
Here, Llewellyn, wear thou this favor for me, and stick it in thy cap. When Alençon and myself were down together, I plucked this glove from his helm. If any man challenge this, he is a friend to Alençon and an enemy to our person. If thou encounter any such, apprehend him, and thou dost me love.
Putting the glove in his cap.
Your grace does me as great honors as can be desired in the hearts of his subjects. How I would fain see the man that has but 2 legs that shall find himself aggrieved at this glove. That is all. But I would fain see at once, and please God of his grace that I might see.
Knowest thou Gower?
He is my dear friend, and please you.
Pray thee, go seek him and bring him to my tent.
I will fetch him.
He exits.
My Lord of Warwick and my brother Gloucester follow Llewellyn closely at the heels. The glove which I have given him for a favor may haply purchase him a box o' the ear. It is the soldier's. I, by bargain, should wear it myself. Follow, good cousin Warwick. If that the soldiers strike him, as I judge by his blunt bearing he will keep his word, some sudden mischief may arise of it. For I do know Llewellyn valiant, and touched with choler, hot as gunpowder, and quickly will return an injury. Follow and see there be no harm between them. Go ye with me, uncle of Exeter.
They exit. Act 4, Scene 8. Williams and Llewellyn are prevented from fighting by Warwick and Gloucester. Henry arrives and accuses Williams of promising to strike him. Williams successfully excuses himself and is rewarded. Henry learns of the huge number of French casualties and the very few English. He declares the English victory to be God's own work, and he plans to return to England. Scene 8. Enter Gower and Williams.
I warrant it is to knight you, Captain.
Enter Llewellyn wearing Williams' glove. Jacob.
You, soldier, speak.
Yeah, okay. Fuck me in the face. God's will and his pleasure. My fucking computer. Hold on, it's loading. Okay, there we go. God's will and his pleasure, Captain. I beseech you now, come apace to the king. There is more good toward your peradventure than is in your knowledge to dream of.
Llewellyn pointing to the glove in his own hat.
Sir, know you this glove?
Know the glove? I know the glove is a glove.
I know this, and thus I challenge it.
Strikes him.
Blood an errant traitor as any's in the universal world, or in France, or in England.
How now, sir, you villain?
Do you think I be forsworn?
Stand away, Captain Gower. I will give treason his payment into plows, I warrant you.
I am no traitor.
The lie in thy throat. I charge you in his majesty's name. Apprehend him. He's a friend of the Duke Allinson's.
Enter Warwick and Gloucester. Oh no, what's the matter?
My lord of Warwick, here is, praise be God for it, a most contagious treason come to light. Look you, as you shall desire in a summer's day.
Enter King of England and Exeter.
Here is his majesty.
How now, what's the matter?
The liege, here is a villain and a traitor that, look your grace, has struck the glove which your majesty has take out of the helmet of Alanson.
My liege, this was my glove. Here is the fellow of it, and he that I gave it to in change promised to wear it in his cap. I promised to strike him if he did. I met this man with my glove in his cap, and I have been as good as my word.
Majesty here now, saving your majesty's manhood. What an errant, rascally, beggarly, lousy knave it is. I hope your majesty is peer me testimony and witness and will avouchment that this is the glove of Alanson that your majesty has give me in your conscience now.
Give me thy glove, soldier. Look, here is the fellow of it. 'Twas I indeed thou promised to strike, and thou hast given me most bitter terms.
And please your majesty, let his neck answer for it, if there is any martial law in the world.
How canst thou make me satisfaction?
All offenses, my lord, come from the heart. Never came any from mine that might offend your majesty.
It was ourself thou didst abuse.
Your majesty came not like yourself. You appeared to me but as a common man. Witness the night, your garments, your lowliness, and what your highness suffered under that shape. I beseech you, take it for your own fault and not mine. For had you been as I took you for, I made no offense. Therefore, I beseech your highness, pardon me.
Here, Uncle Exeter, fill this glove with crowns and give it to this fellow. Keep it, fellow, and wear it for an honor in thy cap till I do challenge it. Give him the crowns. And captain, you must needs be friends with him.
By this day and this light, the fellow has metal enough in his belly. Hold, there is 12 pence for you, and I pray you to serve God and keep you out of quarrels and problems and quarrels and dissensions, and I warrant you it is the better for you.
I will none of your money.
With a good will. I can tell you it will serve you to mend your shoes. Come, wherefore should you be so bashful? Your shoes is not so good. 'Tis a good silling, I warrant you, or I will change it.
Enter an English herald,
Now, Harold, are the dead numbered?
giving the king a piece of paper. Here's the number of the slaughtered French.
What prisoners of good sort are taken, uncle?
Charles, Duke of Orleans, nephew to the king, John, Duke of Bourbon, and Lord
Lucy Claus?
Balsiqua, other lords and barons, knights and squires, full 1,500, besides common men.
This note doth tell me of 10,000 French that in the field lie slain. Of princes in this number and nobles bearing banners, there lie dead 126. Added to these, of knights, esquires, and gallant gentlemen, 8,400, of the which 500 were but yesterday dubbed knights. So that in these 10,000 they have lost, there are but 1,600 mercenaries. The rest are princes, barons, lords, knights, squires, and gentlemen of blood and quality. The names of those nobles that lie dead: Charles Delabreth, High Constable of France; Jacques of Chatillon, Admiral of France; the Master of the Crossbows, Lord Rambouillet, Great Master of France; the brave Sir Guichard Dauphin; John, Duke of Alençon; Anthony, Duke of Brabant; the brother to the Duke of Burgundy; and Edward, Duke of Bar. Of lusty earls, Grand Pre and Roussy, Falconbridge and Foix, Beaumont and Marley, Vaudemont and Lestrade. Here was a royal fellowship of death. Where is the number of our English dead?
Harold gives him another paper.
Edward the Duke of York, Earl of Suffolk, Sir Richard Ketley, Davy Gaume, Esquire. None else of name, and of all other men but 25. O God, thy arm was here, and not to us, but to thy arm alone ascribe we all. When, without stratagem, but in plain shock in every play of battle, was ever known so great and little loss on one part and on the other? Take it, God, for it is none but thine.
'Tis wonderful.
Come, go we in procession to the village, and be it death proclaimed through our host to boast of this, to take that praise from God which is his only.
Is it not lawful and please your majesty to tell how many he has killed?
Yes, captain, but with this acknowledgement, that God fought for us.
Yes, my conscience, he did us great good.
Do we all holy rites. Let there be sung Non Nobis and Te Deum. The death with charity enclosed in clay, and then to Calais, and to England then, where ne'er from France arrived more happy men.
They exit Act 5, Chorus. The chorus describes the great welcome accorded to the English army when it returns home, the visit by the Holy Roman Emperor to establish peace between England and France, and the return of Henry to France. Enter Chorus. Zoe.
Vouchsafe to those that have not read the story that I may prompt them, and of such as have, I humbly pray them to admit the excuse of time, of numbers, and due course of things, which cannot in their huge and proper life be here presented. Now we bear the king toward Calais. Grant him there, their scene, heave him away upon your winged thoughts athwart the sea. Behold the English beach, pales in the flood with men, wives, and boys, with shouts and claps outvoice the deep-mouthed sea, which, like a mighty whiffler for the king, seems to prepare his way. So let him land, and solemnly see him set on to London. So swift a pace hath thought that even now you may imagine him upon Blackheath, where that his lords desire him to have borne his bruised helmet and his bended sword before him through the city. He forbids it, being free from vainness and self-glorious pride, giving full trophy, signal, and a stand, quite from himself to God. You're muted.
Oh, are we actually switching off? Oh. That's cute. But now behold, in the quick forge and working house of thought, how London doth pour out her citizens. The mayor and all his brethren in best sort, like to the senators of the antique Rome, with the plebeians swarming at their heels, go forth and fetch their conquering Caesar in. As by a lower but loving likelihood, were now the general of our gracious empress, as in good time he may, from Ireland coming, bringing rebellion broached on his sword. How many would the peaceful city quit to welcome him? Much more, and much more cause did they this harry. Now in London place him, as yet the lamentation of the French invites the King of England's stay at home. The emperor's coming in behalf of France to order peace between them, and omit all the occurrences, whatever chanced, till Harry's back return again to France. There must we bring him, and myself have played the interim, by remembering you 'tis past. Then brook abridgment, and your eyes advance, after your thoughts, straight back again to France. He exits. Act 5, Scene 1. Fluellen avenges Pistol's insult by making Pistol eat a leek. Pistol, humiliated, plans to return to England in the guise of a wounded soldier.
What's the actual thought?
Scene 1, enter Fluellen and Gower.
Nay, that's right, but why wear you your leek today? St. Davy's Day is past.
There is occasions and causes why and wherefore in all things. I will tell you, ask my friend, Captain Gower, the rascally, scald, beggarly, lousy, pragging knave Pistol, which you and yourself and all the world know to be no better than a fellow, look you now, of no merits, he is come to me and brings me bread and salt yesterday. Look you, and bid me eat my leek. It was in a place where I could not breed no contention with him. But I will be so bold as to wear it in my cap till I see him once again, and then I will tell him a little piece of my desires.
Enter Pistol.
Why, here he comes, swelling like a turkey cock.
'Tis no matter for his swellings, nor his turkey cocks. God bless you, Ancient Pistol, you scurvy, lousy knave. God bless you.
Ah, art thou bedlam? Dost thou thirst-faced Trojan to have me fold up Parcus' fatal web? Hence, I am qualmish at the smell of leek.
I beseech you heartily, scurvy, lousy knave, at my desires and my requests and my petitions to eat, look you, this leek. Because, look you, you do not love it, nor your affections and your appetites and your digestions does not agree with it. I would desire you to eat it.
Not for Cadwallader and all his goats.
Here's one goat for you.
Strikes him with a cudgel.
You be so good, scold knave, as eat it?
Base Trojan, thou shalt die.
You say very true, scald knave, when God's will is. I will desire you to live in the meantime and eat your victuals. Come, there is sauce for it. You called me yesterday mountain squire, but I will make you today a squire of low degree. I pray you, fall to. If you can mock a leek, you can eat a leek.
Enough, Captain, you have astonished him.
I say I will make him eat some part of my leek, or I will peat his pate 4 days. Bite, I pray you. It is good for your green wound and your bloody coxcomb.
Must I buy?
Yes, certainly. And out of doubt and out of question too, and ambiguities.
By this leek, I will most horribly revenge.
Fluellen threatens him.
I eat and eat, I swear.
Eat, I pray you. Will you have some more sauce to your leek? There is not enough leek to swear by.
Light thy cudgel, thou dost see I eat.
Much good to you, scold knave, heartily. Nay, pray you throw none away. The skin is good for your broken coxcomb. When you take occasions to see leeks hereafter, I pray you mock at them. That is all.
Good.
Aye, leeks is good. Hold you, there is a groat to heal your pate.
Me, a groat?
Yes, verily, and in truth you shall take it, or I have another leek in my pocket which you shall eat.
I take that groat in earnest of revenge.
If I owe you anything, I will pay you in cuggles. You shall be a woodmonger and buy nothing of me but cuggles. God be with you and keep you and heal your pate.
He exits.
Oh, hell shall stir for this. Go, go, you are a counterfeit, cowardly knave. Will you mock at an ancient tradition begun upon an honorable respect and worn as a memorable trophy of predeceased valor, and dare not avouch in your deeds any of your words? I have seen you gleeking and galling at this gentleman twice or thrice. You thought because he could not speak English in the native garb, he could not therefore handle an English cudgel? You find it otherwise, and henceforth let a Welsh correction teach you a good English condition. Fare you well.
He exits.
Doth fortune play the huswife with me now? News that have I that my doll is dead in the spittle of a malady of France, and there my rendezvous is quite cut off. Old I do wax, and from my weary limbs honor is cudgeled. Well, God, I'll turn, and something lean to cut purse of quick hand. Tingling will I steal, and therefore I'll steal. And patches will I get into these cudgeled scars, and swear I got them in the Gallia Wars.
He exits. Act 5, Scene 2. The Duke of Burgundy has brought about a meeting between the French and the English to sign a peace treaty. Henry delegates negotiation of the treaty to his nobles while he woos Catherine, Princess of France, who agrees to marry him. The French are brought to accept all English terms, hello, Astaire, do you want something? Including Henry's right to succeed to the French throne. Scene 2. Enter at the one door King Henry, Exeter, Bedford, Warwick, Westmoreland, and other lords. At another, Queen Isabel of France, the King of France, and the Princess Catherine, and Alice, the Duke of Burgundy, and other French.
Peace to this meeting wherefore we are met, unto our brother France and our sister, health and fair time of day. Joy and good wishes to our most fair and princely cousin Catherine. And as a branch and member of this royalty, by whom this great assembly is contrived, we do salute you, Duke of Burgundy. And princes, French, and peers, health to you all.
Right. Joyous are we to behold your face. Most worthy brother England, fairly met. So are you, princes English, every one.
So happy be the issue, brother Ireland, of this good day and of this gracious meeting, as we are now glad to behold your eyes which hitherto have borne in them against the French that met them in their bent the fatal balls of murdering basilisks. The venom of such looks, we fairly hope, have lost their quality, and that this day shall change all griefs and quarrels into love.
Cry amen to that, thus we appear.
You English princes all, I do salute you.
My duty to you both on equal love. Great kings of France and England, that I have laboured with all my wits, my pains and strong endeavours to bring your most imperial majesties unto this bar and royal interview. Your mightiness on both parts can best witness. Since then my office hath so far prevailed that face to face and royal eye to eye you have congregated. Let it not disgrace me if I demand before this royal view what rub or what impediment there is, why that the naked, poor, and mangled piece, dear nurse of arts, plenties, and joyful births, should not in this best garden of the world, our fertile France, put up her lovely visage. Alas, she hath from France too long been chased, and all her husbandry doth lie on heaps, corrupting it in its own fertility. Her vine, the merry cheerer of the heart, unpruned dies. Her hedges, even pleached like prisoners, wildly overgrown with hair, put forth disordered twigs. Her fallow leaves, the darnel hemlock and rank fumitory, doth root upon, while that the coulter rusts, don't bite me, that should decarnate such a savagery, the even mead that erst brought sweetly forth, the freckled cowslip, burnet and green clover, wanting the scythe, with all uncorrected rank, conceives by idleness, and nothing teens but hateful docks, rough thistles, Caxbury's burrs, losing both beauty and utility, and all our vineyards, fallows, meads, and hedges, defective in their natures, stop. Where was I? What line was I? Help.
Grow to wildness. Even so, our houses
Thank you.
and ourselves and children have lost or do not learn for want of time the sciences that should become our country, that grow like savages, as soldiers that nothing do but meditate on blood, to swearing and stern looks, diffused attire, and everything that seems unnatural, to which to reduce into a formal favor you are assemble, and my speech entreat, so that I may know the let why gentle peace should not expel these inconveniences, and bless us with her formal qualities.
If Duke of Burgundy, you would the peace whose want gives growth to the imperfections which you have cited, you must buy that peace with full accord to all our just demands, whose tenors and particular effects you have and scheduled briefly in your hands.
The king hath heard them, to the which as yet there is no answer made.
Well, then the peace which you before so urged lies in his answer. Well, you, King of France.
Where fuck me? Oh, I have, but with a cursory eye o'er glanced the articles. Pleaseth your grace to appoint some of your council presently to sit with us once more with better heed to reserve them. We will suddenly pass our accept and peremptory answer.
Brother, we shall. Go, Uncle Exeter and Brother Clarence, and you, Brother Gloucester, Warwick and Huntington, go with the king. And take with you free power to ratify, augment, or alter as your wisdom best shall see advantageable for our dignity. Anything in or out of our demands, and we'll consign thereto. Will you, fair sister, go with the princes or stay here with us?
My gracious brother, I will go with them. Happily a woman's voice may be some good, and articles too large in age is good on.
Yet leave our cousin Catherine here with us. She is our capital demand, comprised within the 4 rank of our articles.
You have good leave.
All but Catherine and the King of England and Alice exit.
Fair Catherine, and most fair, will you vouchsafe to teach a soldier terms which as will enter a lady's ear and plead his love suit to her gentle heart?
Your Majesty shall mock at me. I cannot speak your England.
Oh, fair Catherine, if you will love me soundly with your French heart, I will be glad to hear you confess it brokenly with your English tongue. Do you like me, Kate?
Pardonnez-moi, I cannot tell what it's like me.
An angel is like you, Kate, and you are like an angel.
Que dis-tu? Que je suis semblable à les anges?
Oui, avions sur votre grâce, ainsi dit-il.
I said so, dear Catherine, and I must not blush to affirm it.
Oh, bon Dieu. Les langues des anges sont pleines de tromperies.
What says she, fair one, that the tongues of men are full of deceits?
Oui, that the tongues of demands is be full of deceits. That is the princess.
The princess is the better Englishwoman. In faith, Catherine, Kate, my wooing is fit for thy understanding. I am glad thou canst speak no better English, for if thou couldst, thou wouldst find me such a plain king that thou wouldst think I had sold my farm to buy my crown. I know no ways to mince it in love, but directly to say I love you. Then if you urge me farther than to say, do you in faith, I wear out my suit. Give me your answer in faith, do, and so clap hands in a bargain. How say you, lady?
So votre honor, me understand well.
Mary, if you would put me to verses or to dance for your sake, Kate, why you undid me. For the one I have neither words nor measure, and for the other I have no strength in measure, yet a reasonable measure in strength. If I could win a lady at leapfrog or by vaulting into my saddle with my armor on my back under the correction of bragging be it spoken, I should quickly leap into a wife. Or if I might buffet for my love, or bound my horse for her favors, I could lay on like a butcher and sit like a jackanapes, never off. But before God, Kate, I cannot look greenly nor grasp out my eloquence, nor I have no cunning in protestation, only downright oaths, which I never use till urged, nor never break for urging. If thou canst love a fellow of this temper, Kate, whose face is not worth sunburning, that never looks in his glass for love of anything he sees there, let thine eye be thy cook. I speak to thee, plain soldier. If thou canst love me for this, take me. If not, to say to thee that I shall die is true, but for thy love, by the Lord, no. Yet I love thee too. And while thou livest, dear Kate, take a fellow of plain and uncoined constancy, for he perforce must do thee right, because he hath not the gift to woo in other places. For these fellows of infinite tongue that can rhyme themselves into ladies' favors, they do always reason themselves out again. What? A speaker is but a prater, a rhyme is but a ballad, a good leg will fall, a straight back will stoop, a black beard will turn white, a curled pate will grow bald, a fair face will wither, a full eye will wax hollow, but a good heart, Kate, is the sun and the moon, or rather the sun and not the moon, for it shines bright and never changes, but keeps his course truly. If thou would have such a one, take me, and take a soldier, take a king. And what sayest thou then to my love? Speak, my fair, and fairly I pray thee.
Is it possible that I should love the enemy of France?
No, it is not possible you should love the enemy of France, Kate. But in loving me, you should love the friend of France. For I love France so well that I will not part with a village of it. I will have it all mine. And Kate, when France is mine and I am yours, then yours is France and you are mine.
I cannot tell what is that.
No, Kate? I will tell thee in French, which I am sure will hang upon my tongue like a new married wife about her husband's neck, hardly to be shook off. Shit. Je console la possession de France et quand vous avez les possessions de moi. Let me see what then. Saint Denis be my speed. Donc, votre est France et vous êtes mien? It isn't as easy for me, Kate, to conquer the kingdom as to speak so much more French. I shall never move thee in French unless it be to laugh at me.
Sans votre honneur, le français que vous parlez, il est meilleur que l'anglais que je parle.
Faith is it not, Kate, but thy speaking of my tongue and I thine, most truly, falsely, must needs be granted to be much at one. But Kate, dost thou understand thus much English? Canst thou love me?
I cannot tell.
Can any of your neighbors tell, Kate? I'll ask them. Come, I know thou lovest me, and at night when you come into your closet, you'll question this gentlewoman about me, and I know, Kate, you will, to her, dispraise those parts of me that you love with your heart. But good Kate, mock me mercifully, and rather, gentle princess, because I love thee cruelly. If ever thou beest mine, Kate, as I have a saving faith within me tells me thou shalt, I get thee with gambling, and thou must therefore needs prove a good soldier breeder. Shall not thou and I, between St. Denis and St. George, compound a boy, half French, half English, that shall go to Constantinople and take the Turk by the beard? Shall we not? What sayest thou, my fair flower de luce?
I do not know that.
No, 'tis hereafter to know, but now to promise. Do but now promise, Kate, you will endeavor for your French part of such a boy, and for my English moiety, take the word of a king and a bachelor. How answer you, la plus belle Catherine du monde, mon très cher et divine déesse?
Your Majesty have false friend enough to deceive the most sage demoiselle that is en France.
Now fie upon my false French. By mine honor, in true English, I love thee, Kate. by which honor I dare not swear thou lovest me, yet my blood begins to flatter me that thou dost, notwithstanding the poor and untempering effect of my visage. Now, beshrew my father's ambition. He was thinking of civil wars when he got me. Therefore, I was created with a stubborn outside, with an aspect of iron that when I come to woo ladies, I frighten them. But in faith, Kate, the elder I wax, the better I shall appear. My comfort is that old age, that ill layer up of beauty, can do no more spoil upon my face. Thou shalt hast me, if thou hast me, at the worst, and thou shalt wear me if thou wear me better and better. And therefore tell me, most fair Catherine, will you have me? Put off your maiden blushes, avouch the thoughts of your heart with the looks of an empress. Take me by the hand and say, Harry of England, I am thine. Which word thou shalt no sooner bless mine ear withal, but I will tell thee aloud, England is thine, Ireland is thine, France is thine, and Henry Plantagenet is thine. Who, though I speak it before his face, if he be not fellow with the best king, thou shalt find the best king of good fellows. Come, your answer is broken music, for thy voice is music, and thy English broken. Therefore, queen of all, Catherine, break thy mind to me in broken English. Wilt thou have me?
That is as it shall please the roi mon père.
Nay, it will please him well, Kate. It shall please him, Kate.
Then it shall also content me.
Upon that I kiss your hand, and I call you my queen.
Laissez, monseigneur, laissez, laissez. Ma foi, je ne veux point que vous abaissez votre grandeur et en la main de notre Seigneur, en digne serviteur. Excusez-moi, je vous supplie, mon très puissant Seigneur.
Then I will kiss your lips, Kate.
Les dames, demoiselles, pourraient-elles baisser devant le il n'est pas la coutume de France. Oh my God.
Madam, my interpreter, what says she?
That it is not to be fashion pour les ladies of France. I cannot tell what is praise in English.
To kiss?
Ah, Your Majesty entendrait better que moi.
It is not a fashion for the maids in France to kiss before they are married, what'd she say?
Oui, vraiment.
Oh, Kate, nice customs, curtsy to great kings. Dear Kate, you and I cannot be confined within the weak list of a country's fashion. We are the makers of manners, Kate, and the liberty that follows our places stops the mouth of all fine faults, as I will do yours for upholding the nice fashion of your country and denying me a kiss. Therefore, patiently and yielding, he kisses her.
He kisses.
He kisses her.
Come
It's
on, man.
cute.
Get in.
You have witchcraft in your lips, Kate. There is more eloquence and a sugar touch of them than in the tongues of the French council, and they should sooner persuade Harry of England that a general petition of than a general petition of monarchs.
Enter the French power. The French king and queen in Burgundy and the English lords Westmoreland and Exeter.
Oh, here comes your father.
God save your majesty, my royal cousin. Teach you our princess English.
I would have her learn, my fair cousin, how perfectly I love her, and that is good English.
Is she not apt?
Our tongue is rough, cuz, and my condition is not smooth, so that having neither the voice nor the heart of flattery about me, I cannot so conjure up the spirit of love in her that he will appear in his true likeness.
Pardon the frankness of my mirth if I answer you for that. If you would conjure in her, you must make a circle. If conjure up love in her, his true likeness, he must appear naked and blind. Can you blame her then, being a maid, yet rosed over with the virgin crimson of modesty, if she deny the appearance of a naked blind boy in her naked seeing self? It were, my lord, a hard condition for a maid to consign to.
Yet they do wink and yield as love is blind and enforces.
Then they are then excused, my lord, when they see not what they do.
Then, good my lord, teach your cousin to consent winking.
I will wink on her to consent, my lord, if you will teach her to know my meaning, for maids well summered and warm kept are like flies at Bartholomew tide, blind though they have their eyes, and then they will endure handling, which before would not abide looking on.
This moral ties me over to time in a hot summer. And so I shall catch the fly, your cousin, in the latter end, and she must be blind too.
As love is, my lord, before it loves.
It is so. And you may, some of you, thank love for my blindness, who cannot see many a fair French city for one fair French maid that stands in my way.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, yes, my lord. You see them prospectively. The city's turned into a maid, for they are all girdled with maiden walls that war hath never entered.
Shall Kate be my wife?
So please you.
I am content. So the maiden cities you talk of may wait on her. So the maid that stood in the way for my wish shall show me the way to my will.
We have consented to all terms of reason.
Is it so, my lords of England?
The king hath granted every article, his daughter first, and in sequel all, according to their firm proposed natures.
Only he hath not yet subscribed to this, where your majesty demands that the king of France, having any occasion to write for matter of grant, shall name you for highness in this form, with his addition in French. Notre très cher fils Henry Roy de Angleterre, héritier de France, and thus in Latin, God. Praeclarissimus Philus noster Henricus Rex Anglae et eris Franciae.
Nor this I have not, brother, so denied, but your request shall make me let it pass.
I pray you then, in love and dear alliance, let that one article rank with the rest, and thereupon give me your daughter.
Take her, fair son, and from her blood raise up issue to me, that the contending kingdoms of France and England, whose very shores look pale with envy of each other's happiness, may seize their hatred, and this dear conjunction plant neighborhood and Christian-like accord in their sweet bosoms, that never war advance his bleeding sword twixt England and fair France. Amen.
Now welcome, Kate, and bear me witness all that here I kiss her as my sovereign queen.
He kisses her. Flourish.
The best maker of all marriages, combine your hearts in one, your realms in one. As man and wife being two are one in love, so be there twixt your kingdoms such a spousal that never may ill office or foul jealousy, which troubles of the bed of blessed marriage, thrust in between the paction of these kingdoms to make divorce of their incorporate league, that English may as French Englishmen receive each other. God speak this. Amen.
Amen.
Prepare we for our marriage, on which day my lord of Burgundy will take your oath, and all the peers for surety of our leagues. Then shall I swear to Kate and you to me, and may our oaths well kept and prosperous be.
Senate, they exit. Act 5, Epilogue. The chorus reminds the audience that Henry died very young, leaving the kingdom to his infant son, whose reign France was lost and England did bleed. Enter chorus as epilogue.
Thus far with rough and all unabled pen our bending author hath pursued the story, in little room confining mighty men, mangling by starts the full course of their glory. Small time, but in that small most greatly lived this star of England. Fortune made his sword, by which the world's best garden he achieved, and of it left his son imperial lord. Henry VI, in infant bands, crowned king of France and England, did this king succeed, whose state so many had the managing that they lost France and made his England bleed, which oft our stage hath shown. And for their sake, in your fair minds, let this acceptance take.
He exits, and that is where we go back to the beginning of all of our readings.
What a bummer epilogue, bro.
I know.
He died young and his son lost everything.